What's up, YouTube? I'm about to go live on the TikTok. And let me change my and now I can't even noise canceling shit. When the noise canceling's on, it feels like I've got pressure in my earballs. I got earballs. Let me get ready. Okay, here we go on the TikTok. Oh, actually, I need to change my background. Let us do that. Ba-boom. Okay. Are we ready to rock? We are ready to rock. In Tulsa, Oklahoma. What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the liberal loudmouth. We're back again for some more action. It is time to get started. Welcome in, everybody. Lib loudmouth. Where's loudmouth? Oh, it's not showing that I'm live. Let's see. There we go. Now it's showing. Now I'm about to share it out so everybody that comes in, go ahead and get to tap in, do all that stuff, share it out, repost it, do all the things you know how to do. Obie's forehead. All right, let me send to you and you and you and you and you and you and you. We are live. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? We're just getting started, so bear with me. Now that has been shared. I've shared it to my people. If you guys want, share it to your people, and we shall get going. Let me get my alt, bring my alt up here, and we will get started. Booyah. There I am. Yay. Almost done. And booyah. All right, now we're in. We got all the shit set up, and I can focus on the show. Welcome in, welcome in. Not a single like yet. Let's get those likes up within the next 10 minutes. Let's try to get to 10K. I may only go live for a couple hours today. I got shit I got to get done. A tease of what the tea is. But we're going to be talking about Tulsa. Oh, good morning, Chip. Good to see you, man. Dirty old man Bob says, another day of repeating what you said yesterday. Well, that's interesting because this story that I'm about to talk about has nothing to do with anything that we talked about yesterday, aside from people attacking those who are feeding people. I guess we did kind of cover that, but not the same story. But either way, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's where the story that I'm about to talk about takes place. And let me go ahead and rewind this. I'll just let News 6 coverage explain the story. Let me see, how long is that segment? 2.5 minutes? All right, we can play that once people start filtering in. Allie, welcome in. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you. True Bro, what's up, man? Good to see you. All right, who else we got? Oh, Allie already got the heart me. Make sure when you come in that you're doing the heart me so that you can get your points and level up. And again, once you get to level 10, you can send a request to be in one of the groups. Good morning, good morning. All right. Yeah, actually, I was going to go live earlier, but Monroe Nichols, the mayor of Tulsa, called me after I sent him a text so that I could get figure out what the hell's going on here in Tulsa, but we'll get to talking about that. Although it wasn't really a journalistic call, I guess, because I don't know, I consider him a friend, so it was kind of a personal conversation. But good things coming in Tulsa, gotta say. Within the next month or so, I'll probably be doing another video about it. I can't talk about it, but good shit. Monroe, I think, is doing a great fucking job. I think he is a better benefit than he is a detriment to the city of Tulsa. And Tulsa is it's a good city. It's a nice city, I think. Oh shit! Somebody met my gifting goal. Hobie's forehead. W. Hobie's forehead. Thank you, Hobie's forehead. It's always nice to see you. Well, not always nice to see you, but, that's fucking funny. Dude, I still am just cackling about that. I told the wife about what you did, and she couldn't stop laughing. She thought it was so funny. What was that? Perfume? Okay, let me do the boxing gloves then. Good shit. That's good shit. All right. Well, since we got 15 people, which is about normal for us in terms of the people that are here to actually watch, the rest of them may be just haters. I guess we'll see. Let me pull this up and we'll get this story started so y'all can figure out what the fuck it is I'm talking about. Here we go. This is News on 6. This is a local channel. Here we go.
The Tulsa group says they were arrested during their weekly event to hand out food to the homeless. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Day.
And I'm Lori Fulbright. Tulsa police say they have dealt with this group many times before, and the arrests were not for handing out food, but for obstruction. News on 6's Reagan Ledbetter has a look at both sides. Reagan.
Craig and Lori, Tulsa police say they've repeatedly told this group they need a permit for their events and have even offered guidance on how to get one. Now, when officers arrived, the group said rather than handing out food, they were protesting, but police say there was no evidence of a protest. The group Tulsa Food Not Bombs posted this on social media saying Tulsa police arrested 4 of their protesters while they were handing out food to the homeless. In a statement today, the group says it is a chapter in a global anti-war demonstration that has been in Tulsa for nearly 6 years.
We understand that people have compassion and they want to go out and help, but there's a process for doing that.
TPD says they've told the group several times they need to have a permit to set up an event and hand out food. Police say when the officer approached the group, he was first told they were volunteers handing out food.
So as he inquired further, they started shifting from this was, this event to we are protesting.
They know why
so
they're there.
Shifting to now this is, protected, First Amendment speech, where there's a very fine line between going out there and setting up tables and distributing food or protesting.
Police say the officer told the group they'd be ticketed for not having a permit, but say Savannah Rose, John Momberg, Robert Miller, and John Rich weren't happy with that.
You have the absolute right to videotape and talk to officers, but you can't do that and interfere with their job.
Police say they support community work like this, but everyone is required to follow the law.
Permitting isn't just because of the government trying to come down on people doing good work. The permitting process is to ensure that you're doing it properly. Are there health code issues that are of concern?
There's no health code issues of concern. There's no health code issues of concern. So I don't even know why this dude's bringing it up.
Are going to be debris and trash issues? Is there an issue with blocking traffic?
Now, the group says they used donations to bond out the 4 of their members who were arrested for misdemeanor obstruction. Lori?
All right.
So that is the story. I saw that and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I texted Monroe, who is he's the mayor of Tulsa, first black mayor of Tulsa. Great guy out there, in my opinion, because I'm like, this doesn't seem like something he would. So the story, it does go back a while with that group. And if you're on the sidewalk, you're not in the street and you're not leaving trash behind, there's nothing the city can do about it. Right, that is basically the stance of the city. But when you start engaging in things that are causing problems with the people that are around you, businesses, homes, what have you, leaving trash behind, getting in the road, blocking traffic, that's when something has to be done. And it's like Monroe has been very, very, very good with dealing with homeless populations, dealing with the food deserts that still exist to this fucking day in Tulsa. They just unveiled a grocery store in an area that, just had nothing. Wonderful grocery store, in fact, and you have to pay dues if you come into the grocery store from outside of a radius, like the radius being, I think, maybe 2 miles or something. Pretty novel idea, but they do it at cost. It's like a nonprofit. And so this has been in conjunction with the city. So it seemed odd to me that he, that he would be in favor of this or whatever. So there's a lot more to that. But on the flip side to that, and this is kind of where the debate comes in. food not bombs does make a point, right? The point being that I'd rather pay for people to be fed than people to be unalived with boom booms. In Hobie's forehead, thank you for the roses. Puddin' Pop, thank you for the laughing tacos. I appreciate that, guys. So where is that balance? You know, what is the balance between, like, you're feeding people but also protesting, and why do we even have this weird, like, you know, delineation? But also, like, in a large city like Tulsa, there's a lot of things going on, you know, and for a mayor in particular, you know, you're juggling a lot of things. So if you're making that person's life more difficult when he's trying to feed people and end homelessness is his goal, which was part of his platform, and he's put his money where his mouth is. When you're, like, making it harder for that person, I don't know if it's, you know what I mean? You're kind of like biting the hand that feeds you to a degree. I don't know. What say you, Chip? What do you think? Like, is there a balance there? You know, where do you stop it?
Well, I don't know if I have all the details of the story. I listened in as best I could. So, but in general, though, my first thought is, why do we even have a need for this battle in the first place? It's so obscene in this country, in my view, that we even have circumstances where people from the public have to navigate this space. Like, how are we going to help these people? That should be something that's already in place within our systems, whether it's through the government, whether it's privatized. You know, not everybody's going to want to go work in a corporate job or whatever, be a traditional, you know, normal person.
I certainly don't.
But the point is that I think we have a responsibility to each other, as we would in a small community, by the way. When we evolved as 50, 100 humans, we didn't say, oh, well, you're not living inside the confines of our little circle, so you get nothing. No, you work together and cooperate. And somehow that's been lost under the mantle of individualism and rugged capitalism. And I think that's really a shame. And the fact that we've allowed these things to persist and get to where they are. Thank you, Hobie's forehead. We're going to have to find a way to rein this all back in. You know, I don't know. I don't have every answer, but I'll say this. If people are getting sick from the health code standard, which is why they exist in the first place, then great. Then take some enforcement action. But as long as there's no outbreak of sickness or illness and people from their own volition want to go out and help others who are struggling, leave it alone.
Right. Well, now to this story, there is no health code issue. I don't know why the fuck the cop brought that up. There's no health code issue. When it comes to that, like, there, you know, Tulsa's pretty good. Although in that city, when you get into, like, the historic district, I think they call it the Pearl District in Tulsa, you'd have business owners. One business owner down the street might put in a refrigerator that's outward facing, right? So people that are homeless that exist in that area can get food from this, and they'll stock it. And so if you're hungry, you can go to these refrigerators and eat. And then you'd have other business owners who didn't want the riffraff going in and plugging the damn thing and fucking up the food or taking the food, calling the police on the other business owners because they didn't want that to devalue their fucking business. It's and so you have this where some people really don't give a shit and some people do. I don't understand people. I don't get it. Like, fucking feed people. What? I don't know.
Well, the reason is that the incentives in our system and the indoctrination from an early age is to be a compliant puppet member of the workforce and to contribute to society. And that leads some people who are more, I guess, ambitious to think that the only path to happiness in life is accumulation of material goods and money. And so therefore, anybody who doesn't adhere to that belief is a slacker, is, you know, sort of a worthless goon. And the world's made up of all types. You have people that are artistic, that someone who's running a company could never create art. And if we didn't have people like that, we wouldn't have beautiful art. So the rigidity with which I hear people come up sometimes and condemn others is really sad, because if they were born differently, they may be that other. You know, you don't get to choose how you're born and how your DNA works, how your brain operates. And to hold the standard for every human being to this capitalistic, rugged individualism, it's not the way humans evolved. It's a complete, contrived, human-created abomination, in my view, that overlooks the basics of society towards the potential to gain massive amounts of wealth and make that the ultimate incentive. I think that's perverse. And, you know, I was just doing some research into China. And again, every society has its challenges. Obviously, China has a single-party rule. It's authoritarian. They have more of a mass surveillance state. But for the average person there, they have guarantees and basic minimums that don't exist here. And so you can argue what's the better or worse. In fact, I just saw a story where the party officials who are assigned to oversee certain parts of the country, especially those that are still emerging from poverty, their salary and their very job depends upon how well they function in terms of bringing people up from the low point that they are. And if they don't do a good enough job helping people out in housing, food, work, education, they get fired. Imagine that.
I can't imagine that. I've never existed in a space like that. I don't know. We're dealing with where half our neighbors just fucking hate anybody that aren't like them or have less than them. This is a cultural problem. Do you think, where America's culture of just individualistic shit? Do you think that really is the root of it? And God, how long does it take to get out of that, to get away from that? Oh, Hawk, what's up, man? Oh, and Puddin' Pop, thank you for the finger hearts. I appreciate that. I believe it's a cultural problem, honestly, and we've got to do something about it. You were muted there, but if you wanted to answer that, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So here's, again, this is not something I say with pleasure, but my guess is the trajectory that this experiment is on it's kind of failing at this point because there's so much debt, there's so much corruption, there's so much excess militarism, blah, blah, blah. So I think that the more likely outcome at this point is increasing mass surveillance and control, centralizing of digitization of currency, and people becoming less important to the machine and therefore being discarded, maybe put on some sort of universal basic sustenance or not even that. And anybody who pushes back is going to suffer severe consequences. I think, right. I hate to say this, I think the smarter move for the average American who wants a good future, especially younger people, is to find it elsewhere. Because this country is no longer going to be a good place. It may work in pockets for some, and there may be opportunities in certain sectors that are sort of the exception.
So give up on the country, you mean?
Well, I don't think this again. I don't say this because I want to be a quitter. I'm saying this because I want to be realistic. And again, nothing's 100%. There's always a chance, but I think the chance to redirect the country, barring some incredibly unforeseen circumstances, is very small. And I think the technocracy that's being rapidly put in place is going to win, and it's going to be used, as I mentioned, and I think that it's going to make it very difficult once that's in place to then even have the possibility of pushback. And so therefore, I think unless something happens in the next 5 to 6 months, which I think is very unlikely based on all, people just aren't mentally there. I don't blame them. Things aren't dire yet. But the problem is, it's like smoking. If you stop when you're 30, you're fine, but you're going to get cancer in your 50s. If we don't do something about this today, in a few years from now, it's going to be irreversible.
I'm not sure that there's going to be a place to go, because I believe this will be global. I believe this takeover is going to be everywhere and in everything. I mean,
well, you can do some searching around. There are governments that have expressed a lot of disdain for this technology. Certain places, like in Vietnam, they've embraced it, of all places. If you go to Uruguay, for example, they won't have anything to do with it. They're not even implementing AI systems or data centers or anything like that. So there are countries that aren't playing the game, but unfortunately, like you said, too many are.
Yeah, and those that are left that don't are going to be consumed by those that do, probably. And, hopefully not, but because we see that nobody gives a shit. These people don't care about sovereignty in any way. So just because it's like its own country doesn't mean that it's not going to be taken by some, you know what I mean? Like somebody who just wants
one
it.
Last point, and then one last point before we pass it around. And that is,
sure.
Countries' ability to self-sustain, if they're self-sufficient, that's the key to insulating oneself from these corporate globalist, setups. And that's why they go after any leader who's trying to maintain self-sufficiency, which you mentioned, sovereignty. So that's the danger, is that, if you try to help your own population, you're targeted for removal because you're not tapping into the global system they want you to be a part of.
Right. And I'm going to, matter of fact, to this point, because I think data centers play a huge role in what you're talking about here. And I mean, really, like the food not bombs kind of plays into this anyway, because it's we can see that they don't care about taking care of anybody. It's about who can we dominate and take. what can we take from people? And it's really gross. Give me a second. It's coming up now, but I guess I can get to Hobie's Forehead. Welcome in, Hobie's Forehead. Thank you for all the gifts. I appreciate that. What say you, sir?
I mean, I think we're heading there. I think we're heading to a digital currency. I think, it's philosophically speaking, right? Nature of man is one of power control. And I think when people get reduced further and further to a data point and less of a person with a heart and soul, then this is just incumbent of what's going to happen. So I do think that. I do think we're probably going to head to a system where with digital currency you can, if someone breaks a law that goes against your conscience, you can be deprived of of money, of being partaking in the system. So I think it's consequential, but I don't think the solution is to necessarily look elsewhere. I think maybe that's where I differ from Chip, if I understood him correctly. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's to just align yourself, or to just make it so that if they're playing a game, it's like, all right, well, if you're playing this game and you're going to, and the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, then maybe we tie our social welfare systems to those profits and get more passively vested in those profits. So if AI is going to disrupt our infrastructure as much, then maybe we do get more of like a robust UBI kind of a system, that's carried into like a child or a Trump type style account or something. So that way, we're lifted up, too, in the process. So, I mean, it's because I think if we look elsewhere, what's going to happen is eventually what's going on here, it's going to permeate to other countries, too. Right?
True.
So
but do you think we're going to be able to convince those people to do this in like the normal way, or are they going to have to be forced, do you think?
I think it's both, honestly, because, and I think it has to do with the policy. Look what China did. China said that, correct me if I'm mistaken, but, AI is not going to, it's not going to replace, any jobs, I guess, in their country. That's kind of standing. But I think we do, and this is where we probably differ. I think it's actually a good thing for us to say, look, we don't take that position, because if we take the same position as China, then they would actually be a more attractive economy in the age of AI, because they have more people, right? They have more consumers. Their manufacturing efficiencies are, through the roof. So I think that would pull more investments away from the U.S. and over, to China and even places like the Middle East. So I think that's how you do it. You just tie the social welfare programs by creating a UBI-like system. And I think the people will stay here as opposed to gravitating, because we don't have as many restrictions on AI like other countries do.
Well, I think my point is that to get those changes, you need people in power to change it. And it's clear to me that I don't think they're going to do that willingly. I think we may have to, socialize lighters so that everybody has a lighter. No matter where you go, there's a lighter in your pocket. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, but I think you take my point. Yeah. Possibly, I think they'll have to be forced, because you know what I mean. Like there's just a history of doing what they want for the people that want it, and this video I'm about to play kind of speaks to that. This is. I think I may have sent myself the wrong video. Yeah,
we're a nation of rebels, Tim.
Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, I sent my stitch of the video I'm trying to actually do. Okay. Well, give me a few more seconds. I'll send it to myself on my phone. So, Baldy, what say you?
I don't agree with having to centralize anything that you guys talking about. I mean, you're talking about centralizing to take care of homeless people that really a major majority of them choose to be on the street because they don't want to be part of the system, whether it be because of drug-induced issues or diseased issues or just mental illness from birth. Whatever it is, The thing is, at the end of the day, you're either an asset to the system or you're a liability. And a lot of the homelessness is in these larger cities, which, whether you believe it or not, we've learned that there is massive amounts of fraud getting thrown to areas. So you say the rich get richer, the fraud's going to the rich. So if these cities were to supplement their own system and take care of the homeless people within their own system and not look to federal to supplement the money to take care of it, because it's not federal's job to feed the homeless. It's your own community, and that's your own local governments. So if you have a problem with what's going on in your area, then you need to be talking to your area, not screaming at fucking the president of the United States stuff because there's homelessness and we're bombing Iran. Those are matters of national security. Homelessness is not a matter of national security. It's not a threat to the homeland. It's not issues that federal is supposed to take care of. That is your local government.
Then why do they arrest them?
For whatever reason they gave to arrest them. Trump walked down there and arrested them?
If they're not a risk, why are they arresting homeless people? You just said it yourself that there's no consequence.
Vagrancy is illegal. In certain areas, vagrancy is illegal.
Why is vagrancy illegal?
Because they deemed it illegal. I don't know
why. Well, I'm just asking you. You appear to be okay with like that, and that people shouldn't help unless it's just, I guess, those
there's ordinances
surrounding
and all that within cities. And the thing is, most of these cities, they're being arrested.
Why?
In cities.
What is the point if it's not harmful? Like why?
I mean, you can say it is or it isn't. I mean, now the thing is, are the homelessness shitting in the streets? Are they shooting up drugs in the streets? Are they leaving needles in flower beds in districts where there's restaurants? Are they doing all of this stuff which poses a harm to the area? So then, what if a kid finds a needle with heroin it has AIDS?
So you can put like a bathroom that they have access to if you know that there's a homeless population. That way they don't shit in the street?
That's kind of like putting bowls out for stray cats. All of a sudden, now you've got hundreds upon hundreds of stray cats, which poses health risks, disease, attacks, and all that. It's the same thing with homelessness. I mean,
I see. So the dregs of society, in your opinion, regardless of the context of how they got there, because you don't care, you think it's drugs and whatever else, you just
let them die. Not that I don't care. It's that you can't diminish the fact that when there is a mass majority of them focused in one small area, that it becomes an issue.
Are you a religious person?
I am. But what does that got to do with the subject?
You're a Christian, aren't you?
Yes. What does that have to do with the
subject? Yeah, because your own religion tells you that what you just said means that you ain't making it into heaven, bro.
And there's plenty of churches out there willing to help these people. So
get out of here.
No.
You're relying on others to do that which you were told to do by your own religion. So stop calling yourself a Christian, please. Would you please stop doing
Muslims
that?
Are told to bomb people.
I'm not talking about Muslims. You're not a Muslim. You said you were a Christian.
According to their religion.
You said you were a Christian. I'm not talking about Muslims. We're not comparing Muslims. So you're not a Muslim person telling me that the dregs and vagrants of society
you're gonna try to put personal responsibility on me to take care of every homeless person on the planet. That's not how it works.
See, this is why I really take issue with religion, because I'm sure in this dude's day to day, he probably
take issue with
holds
religion
that.
Because
Because you will use that religion to justify bad behavior, and you will do none of the things that your own religion tells you to do. I think it's disgusting, sir. I'm more of a Christian. Listen, I'm more of a Christian than you are, and I don't even believe in that shit, bro. I don't believe in it at all. I think you're disgusting.
So what are you doing for the homelessness? Are you going out there dropping porta shitters on the side of the road?
That's interesting, because when somebody asked for baby formula and diapers and was homeless, I fed those people. That's what I do, because it's the right thing to do. And you're like, well, if you can do that on an individual level, then that's fine. Because you're up here telling me that those homeless people should just fucking die or be removed because they shit in the street. Oh, no, that came
out of my mouth. Are you recording?
Yes. So now you want to play semantics. You know what you meant, sir.
I want to record it. You said that.
You know what you meant.
No, I didn't know what I meant. Because y'all play the same game with Trump. And the thing is, you pretend Trump said things, but then you're going to say, well, you know what he meant.
Clarify. Let's let you clarify. Do you think that homeless people should be cared for by the community?
Didn't I just say it's the local government, it's the local community, it's not federal's problem to deal with this shit?
You did say that.
Yep.
And then you went into, and then I asked you,
did you record this? I want you to take a clip of the recording of what I said.
Calm down. And then I asked you about the about why they do that, because you said they're not a national security risk, they're not a problem in focusing on this. So I asked you why those laws are in place, and then you proceeded to give a bunch of reasons why the city should be allowed to arrest them. Didn't you say that?
No, that is not what
Yes, you did.
You record this. Go
you
ahead
defended
and
the ordinances that allow homeless people to be arrested.
Well, didn't you
play
the recording?
Did you not defend ordinances?
Hold me accountable for the words that came out of my mouth.
Did you not
play the recording?
Well, answer the question.
I'll mute up until you play the recording.
Did you not defend the ordinances that allow a city to arrest homeless people? And so you won't answer that because the answer just completely, destroys the argument that you're currently trying to make.
Because I want you to play the recording of the words that came out of my mouth. You didn't say
what you said. Look, deductive reasoning is a thing, and you may not be able to do that, but everybody else with common sense knows what you said,
just so you can try to play a little roundabout game. Repeat.
No, I just find you to be disgusting because you are in favor of and defending the very ordinances that allow us to arrest homeless people because, and in your words, they shit in the streets and they leave needles behind.
Do they?
That's what you said.
Do they?
That is what you said. Is that not what you said?
So you're going to deny that they defecate in the street and leave paraphernalia behind?
So are you okay with paying for porta potties so that they have a place to shit? I asked you that also. Are you okay with that?
If they can designate an area safe enough to put porta potties, whatever. But that's upon the local government.
Right.
That is not a federal problem.
So the federal government, are we not a community?
No,
that doesn't
federal
make any
government
sense
is not
to me.
a community. Federal government is what protects the homeland.
So why not just say that each HOA or each neighborhood is the one that deals with that which is there? Why would you say that the city should do it? Why not your neighbors?
That's the stupidest fucking argument, bro. You're smarter than that.
You're stopping at federal government. Why?
What do you mean? Why?
You're stopping at the federal government.
It's not a federal problem.
What is the
difference?
That is a
local. So all of these problems exist in blue city, Democrat-run cities, which have been Democrat strongholds for decades. And then you're going to come and say, "Oh, it's a federal problem now."
Like Emma just said, we pay federal taxes. I would much rather pay taxes to house and feed the homeless population than I would to pay millions upon millions and even billions, and over Iraq and Afghanistan, trillions on unaliving people halfway across the world that has nothing to do with me. Do you at least agree with that?
That's federal government. That is called the defense budget.
Okay.
That is way beyond your taxes.
Okay. So then
that is a budget that's been put through on Congress.
So then we shouldn't be paying the federal government anything. They shouldn't tax us at all. What's the point? Why not just have 50 different countries?
You do realize there's a lot of taxes that come out of a lot of things.
But we're the ones paying it, the taxes.
Yeah, we are paying taxes. What about state tax? What about all of your state taxes?
Is a state responsible? It goes to the state. Is a state responsible?
And then what about your cities?
Baldy.
And then your cities take a large chunk of that tax.
Baldy is.
And then the state gets a supplement.
Baldy, is a state responsible for a city?
A state, yes. A state is partially responsible for a city.
So state taxes.
Because the city is the one that gets money from the state. And then the state, when they run out of money, they ask federal for a supplemental.
So do you think that state taxes should go to helping homeless in each community?
If the city puts forth a request for more money from the state, then yes, because Every
So
city
why not federal?
has their own money that works within the system. And then when they run out of money,
federal?
they ask the state. And then when the state runs out of money, they ask federal.
Why not the federal government? Why do you stop at the federal government? Why is the federal government different there? Why can't the federal government support states too in the things that they need?
They supplement their entitlements, and they have been for a very long time.
If they do that, then what's the problem? What's your problem?
Because it's not federal's job to regulate each state. So, do you agree that states are sovereign? Are states sovereign?
They aren't regulating them. They aren't regulating them.
Are states sovereign?
I mean, not really. They have rights, but they aren't sovereign.
They are absolutely sovereign. States are sovereign.
They have rights.
Yes, they are.
They have rights, but they aren't sovereign.
Each state is sovereign.
I guess you could make that argument, but you could also make the argument the other way. I think that's a piss poor word to describe what a state is.
Each state is sovereign. Each state has its own sovereignty.
I don't agree with that twisting of semantics there. I don't agree.
It's not twisting. That's fucking reality.
Yes, it is. You're trying to fit an oval into
because it completely abolishes your entire argument. It's each state is sovereign.
Yes, no.
Yes, they are.
That's
each
silly.
state has sovereignty. Yes,
okay. So then they should get no money from the federal government, right?
Well, the way our system works is you request the money through the system.
Okay, but
it goes through a budget. Either way. Depending on the entitlement, depending on the programs that are put in place through the state, they can't go through and they can request money because each state has their own budget.
Yes, we have a Christian up here, guys, that thinks that we should defend ordinances that allow us to arrest homeless people. That's what you did. Mm. Yeah, which means you actually don't care about feeding them, which, is fine. Just fucking say it. Stop pretending like you care.
Go back to the recording.
Stop pretending like you care.
I know you record this. I know you recorded it.
Well, that's interesting.
Hold me accountable for the words.
I am holding you accountable. You defended ordinances.
Not in your own words.
Baldy, and notice how he won't respond to what he did say, which is that he defended ordinances that allow cities to arrest homeless people for shitting in the streets and leaving behind needles and trash. That's what you said, man.
Do you consider paraphernalia a risk to public health?
Do I consider paraphernalia a risk to public health? Sure.
Which is what heroin needles are potentially riddled with sexual disease.
Yeah, and yet we still have corporations that spew toxic shit into our atmosphere and our air. And are we doing much about that? But no. The one needle that you made, 1 in a million chance. I'm not pivoting. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
why do you allow one and not the other? Why are we not arresting? Why are we not arresting these massive fucking refineries that cause acid fucking rain in the United States? Why do you worry about this needle that you're not going to step on, bro?
Acid rain. Why hasn't anybody melted?
Is acid rain not a thing? I'm sorry. Are you're going to sit there and act like acid rain isn't a thing? And are you telling me that corporations don't spew shit into our atmosphere? And do corporations not put shit into our food that fucking poisons us? Is that true?
Well, if you believe I do.
But there might be a needle. There might be a needle in a haystack. And I got to roll around in this haystack.
Right? You holding a forum, or are you just holding a narrative?
Apparently, I'm holding a workshop on how to annoy people.
Well, I think you're doing a good job at it.
I agree. I'm sure everybody in the comments is thoroughly annoyed.
Listen, I'm all for having respectful discourse. We can disagree.
Is this not respectful?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Anyway, moving on from that, and now I don't even know what we started in on. You were talking about, your original point was, refresh my memory.
Well, the topic was homelessness, and if I believed it was okay that homeless people were being arrested, but I believe it's circumstantial. But the thing is, if you're homeless in an area where homelessness has been illegal don't go there. There's plenty of other areas for you to go.
Wait, you telling homeless people not
I
to
don't make
go
the fucking laws, bro.
somewhere?
I'm just telling you the laws exist.
Did you just say to tell homeless people to go somewhere else? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and if it's illegal there, and if they don't want to get arrested, if the state start arresting you for being vagrant, I mean, what? That's the laws are in place. So what?
Yeah, get to walking, and then you're going to get picked up because you were walking down the highway. Oh, you're going to get picked up for trespassing on somebody's property you didn't know. But because Baldy told you to go somewhere else, now you got to start walking.
I'm not telling you to go somewhere
none of that makes any sense. Okay,
I'm not
let me go ahead and play this video to really showcase that when it comes to those in a position of power, they will give and take everything from you. They will give to themselves and take everything from you. Just listen to this shit.
Hey, my name is Ansley. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening in Coweta County, Georgia. Here in Coweta County, Georgia, Georgia Power is forcibly taking people's homes, okay? They have no choice in this matter. As you can see behind me, these are the power lines, and this is my childhood home. My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power. They are going to bulldoze this entire property to the ground. We don't have a choice in this. They are going to be expanding these power lines. Why? For the data centers. All of this is for the data centers. And you may think this might not affect you personally, but what happens when they come for your house next?
Now, what do you think, Baldy, is more of an issue? The fact that the government is stealing your property to make way for another corporation, or a homeless person?
I mean, based on whether that's true or not, I mean, do we have actual proof that that's actually happening? Other than some girl on TikTok?
Okay, do you believe? Okay, let me broad brush this for you. Do you believe that in the United States someone has lost their house to eminent domain to make way for a data center? Do you believe that that's true?
Are you saying that they didn't get paid for it and they didn't sign over rights to their property?
Didn't say anything about whether
stolen?
or not they got paid. They take your property.
No.
Would you rather have a
they
home?
They can't take your property. They have to buy it.
That's beside the point. You had a home.
That's not beside the point.
Yes, it is.
Once there's a transaction, it's legality. It's legal transaction.
Okay, so to me, my home and my property, you cannot put a price on that. You can't. Because it's mine and I want to keep it. The eminent domain requires that you sell it. That's my point. And see, I notice you don't really want to answer this, so you're kind of dancing and dodging around it.
You don't have to sell
your property. Are you telling
property.
me that you're okay with her losing her home? That's fine, but the homeless need to go find somewhere else to go. Is that your position?
Was she forced to sell her property?
Of course, that's what eminent domain is.
Or was the easement too close, encroaching on the border of her property?
It's still eminent domain, Baldy.
It's not eminent. It's not eminent
that
domain.
house.
If they're running power lines, it is
that house.
It is a
was
utility
built,
easement.
That house was built in the '60s. It appears that house looks like it was built in the '60s. That house was built before they put those fucking power lines there. I guarantee it. An eminent domain coming in, well, you were in the curtilage of the power lines, and so that was your fault for moving to a place where there was a power. Seriously, this is the fucking pretzel that you find yourself inside of, Baldy, where the government gets to steal your property, whether they pay you or not is fucking irrelevant to me. But the fact that they can do this for another corporation,
they've got the freedom
while
to sell their
they
property
arrest people for feeding humans, to which you say those people should just fucking go somewhere else. Like, what?
If they are vagrant in a city where vagrancy is illegal,
I can't.
It's either get arrested or leave. I mean, that's your two options. I mean, that's kind of like saying if I speed, I have the option to speed, but I shouldn't get arrested if I go over 20 miles over the speed limit, just because. If I had to take a shit real bad, so it's fine, no problem.
I mean, I'm really baffled. Why exactly do you call yourself a Christian?
Why does my religious faith determine whether you think it should be appropriate on what I believe is, because laws are laws. Laws are in place for a reason. So what, we're not supposed to follow them? Because the Bible actually says follow the laws of the land.
You know what the Bible says
by
more
you,
often?
By you telling me that I'm a bad Christian for following the laws of the land. Oh, yes,
you're a fucking horrible. I don't believe you are a Christian. I believe you claim to be a Christian so that you can have some kind of status. Because when your Bible tells you to do something like feed the hungry, house the homeless, visit the prisoner, shit like that. This is a common theme in your own religious doctrine. And yet the only thing that you latch onto was one time where it says, obey the laws of the land. Which in and of itself doesn't even mean that.
Of this whole argument was, you asked me what I thought about homeless people being arrested and the reasoning behind it.
Now, Hobie's forehead, because I really don't care what you have to say right now.
They were arrested in.
Yeah.
They posed a public health risk.
Yeah, steal your property, hand it over to a rich guy, and then tell the homeless people that they got to leave because you don't want to step in shit. I really don't, at this point, care what you're saying. Well, I really don't give a shit.
I'm going to repeat, since you refuse to play the recording of my reasoning, because you asked me whether homeless people posed a health risk to the public.
Correct.
And I asked
you said that they weren't a national security risk.
Were they shitting in the street? Were they defecating in public places?
Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Hold on. Let me get the bubonic plague happened
because they were dumping all
that's right.
feces in the street.
That's right, and that's why you take care of them. You don't tell them to just leave and then arrest them when they don't. That's why you take care of them.
But if vagrancy is illegal, then that's a top-down problem.
Does every human have to shit?
Then that means the people...
Baldy.
Listen, then that means you need to go to the polls. You need to vote. You need to talk to your local representatives within your own state. It is not a federal problem.
Baldy, does every human have to take a shit?
If you're human, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And if they don't have anywhere...
Pretty much every living being has to
and if
shit.
They don't have anywhere else to shit... Are you going to be mad at them for shitting when they have to shit? You're going to punish them for doing something that every human does.
Problem.
Where are they supposed to shit? Climb up a tree?
Yeah.
Bury
somewhere else to do it.
You want them to bury it?
Yeah, sure. Bury it.
So if they bury the shit, then you're fine with that.
Sure, go shit in the woods or something.
So, somebody needs to come up with a nonprofit to get spades to every homeless person instead of just putting a porta potty out there. Let's get spades to all homeless people so that they can dig a hole to bury their shit. And a jackhammer, so in the event that they live in a fucking paradise of a parking lot, they can jackhammer the goddamn concrete and then bury it. But don't worry, they'll put the asphalt back. Ridiculous.
So do you think these are Democrat cities? Where these homeless people are?
Don't put cities are generally blue. Cities are generally blue. Large cities are generally blue. Do you know why that's the case? Because the majority of intellectuals go to cities because that's where the businesses are that require intellectuals.
It's been gerrymandered. Every blue city
just like Donald Trump said, smart people don't like me.
Well. Every city's been gerrymandered.
Comment on that?
Sure, yes. Hobie's forehead has something to say.
Yeah, so I guess my question for you, Baldy, is did the apostles break any laws?
What does that have to do with homelessness, leaving heroin needles in the street?
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that you were talking about having to obey laws, right? Christians have to obey laws. I think that was your statement.
Christians have the free will to do whatever they want, so I don't understand your argument.
Well, I'm just... Didn't you claim that Christians have to obey laws?
Christians don't have to do anything. Christians have free will. The Bible does say to follow the laws of the land, yes.
Okay. Except for... what was... Because you claimed you're a Christian, right? So there's exceptions to following the law.
Yeah, work into it. Work that big forehead of yours. Come on.
It ain't his forehead. He's working though.
Right. So they broke the laws when it conflicted with their mission, right? To preach the gospel, or when it went against God.
They did not break the laws. No, it was the Pharisees that were coming against them, because the Pharisees were the traditional holy people, and they didn't like the fact that their representatives for their God outside of the traditional forum.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. So didn't break the Sabbath? Didn't ignore authority? Right?
Jesus is God, and Jesus was there, and he told. Well, I think I understand what part you're talking about. What was that passage about the Sabbath? Keep the Sabbath holy. But the thing is, Jesus was saying, because when he came back, they were doing something. I can't remember what it was, but I know what you're getting at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Pete, so I'll just read you just a verse and maybe land my plane here. So Peter and other apostles replying, this is in Acts, Acts 5:29, right? So we must obey God rather than human beings. The God of our ancestors raised, Jesus from the dead, right? So he was making a claim that, look, they did break laws. There's many instances in which they broke laws, but they did so because they said that God commanded it. So even when Jesus was no longer, with them, God commanded them. They broke laws. But I guess what the host was getting to is amongst the greatest commandments is to not just love God, but also love thy neighbor. So now when you have individuals that are showing that, hey, look, I want to show love to my neighbor. I want to respect the dignity of these people. I want to show them care. I want to show them that I love them. I want to show them that, that they're worthy of, being lifted up. And now when they're targeted, we can't, I don't think it's just for us to say, well, if they, they should have obeyed the law. So, and I think that's in the crux of the argument. And I think that's
so who made the laws? Who are the ones that made the laws? So you're over here trying to denounce me for dictating the reality of the situation, that there are laws. I didn't make the laws. I didn't force these people to shit in the street. I didn't force them to leave their heroin needles laying around. I didn't force them to have sexual relations with other homeless people in the street. I didn't force them to do any of the stuff that's happened. I didn't force them to pop up tents on the side of the road. I didn't force them to do any of this stuff. I am telling you the problem exists. So now your solution is Donald Trump. That's not the solution. It is your local government.
Well, I got to say something to that. You didn't force somebody to take a shit. Their body did. Every human has to shit. The vast majority of needles that become problematic. Hold on, I'm not happening. Baldy, I'm not done. The vast majority of needles that become problematic to communities actually come from houses, not from homeless people. Houses. Because if you step on somebody else's needle, you could be infected with something. More people use needles for things that are non-drug related in terms of illicit substances. They're used for medicinal purposes. And a lot of those people are stupid. And they don't use and dispose of their shit. And that ends up in places that it shouldn't be. In fact, every needle in my life that I have ever seen out laying about was a fucking diabetic needle. And where it came from, who fucking knows? But this isn't a homeless issue. No, it's not homeless people.
Yes,
it's people that aren't disposing.
What do you mean?
It's people
those
that
are the needles they use.
It's people that are not disposing of them properly. There is a method to. It is not false. It is absolutely not false, and you can look this up. So you're blaming homeless people for a problem that is a much bigger issue with people who have homes and just toss their shit in the trash can, which can find its way into the public. The place that I'm at, there's not a fucking homeless person, and I've seen a couple of needles on the fucking side of the road, and they're always fucking insulin needles. And they're from people in the fucking houses.
That these people use.
Not homeless people.
What do you mean?
Not homeless people.
It's not homeless people.
What needles do homeless people use,
liberal?
It's not homeless people. It's not homeless people that are dropping the majority of needles out and about in the public. It's not. It's a false claim.
Bullshit.
No, it isn't.
No, what you're saying is completely
You're
false.
operating off of vibes. All of the fucking, like, the millions of dollars that we spend on public service announcements and campaigns to get people to put their needles in proper places, like the Sharps boxes that they have, it's for people that live in homes. It ain't for the homeless, bro. You're talking about a fucking minuscule issue. And you can reduce the amount of needles that are in even the homeless populations by having locations where people can go and use without issue. It's called needle exchange programs. They go in there, they do what they do, they get a new needle, they toss their needle. Are you in favor of that?
That already exists in blue cities. They even load them up with drugs for them too.
Whatever. Are you okay with that?
I am not okay with local governments giving citizens drugs. No,
wait. No, they're not giving them drugs. No, they do not give that. No, they are not. That is a fucking lie. What you just said is a lie. They are not.
They have programs.
Listen, no. Okay, you're not gonna talk over me to lie. They do not give them their drugs. They give them a place to go to inject the drugs that they already have, that they're going to inject out anywhere, and so that they can have fresh needles. They do not give them drugs, sir. That is absurd. So are you okay?
Worried about, worried about.
No. Shh. I asked you a question. Are you okay with those programs where homeless population that are going to be doing drugs can go to get safe, fresh needles? Are you okay with that? You're muted, so you can unmute. Are you okay with it? Do you think that's a good thing?
No, I do not think it's a good thing that they.
Then stop bitching about the needles, bro. If you're not willing to do anything, then don't sit up here and lie to our faces and gaslight us and act like, that's not what I said. Go back and listen to what I said. You don't like homeless people. You look at them as the dregs of society. You're not. No. You're not going to gaslight. I'm muting you up. You sat up here. You defended ordinances that allow us to arrest homeless people. You said they shit in the fucking on the street. And that they drop their fucking needles. I've rebutted all of those claims, and you still find a way to shit on homeless people. You just don't like homeless people. You call yourself a Christian. You are not a Christian. You are not a Christian, sir. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Your solution
Mrs.
to the problem
Chaos.
is...
It's not your turn. Mrs. Chaos, go ahead.
Oh, Lordy. I came into a headache. This is wild. Also...
Crazy.
Hobie's forehead is, I was cackling for at least 10 minutes.
Were you not here yesterday when they have it?
I don't think so. I think I was, no, we had to go find Shane's key fob. He lost it out on the border, so we had to go back to the border and go find it. It's been a day and a half. Baldy, question. You said that homeless people are normally in cities, right? Do you know what Atlanta does? They do exactly the same thing as what Liv was saying. They give them a safe
I don't live
place.
in Atlanta, so I don't know what Atlanta does.
Okay, well, this is why I'm telling you. So they give them a safe place to do whatever they need to do. They have their own section within the city that everybody knows that's where they are at. Nobody is allowed to mess with them, not even the police. Because the way Georgia works is, if we give them a safe place and we can monitor them, we can eliminate half the times that they have to go in for emergencies in the ER, because there's first responders walking around. We can limit them doing crimes because of whatever, because they need things. And they also make sure that they have clean needles and also a red bucket for their needles.
Okay.
But you forget, because you want to sit up here and cosplay, I'm guessing, because I don't hear any type of veteran and your profile picture looks like it. But majority of the homeless people in the country are veterans. So you're really
That's
going to
bullshit.
sit here and yell out, I support troops, but forget that almost 80% of the homeless population in the United States are veterans.
That's bullshit.
It's bullshit?
Yeah. There's a
Hey,
bullshit
Chip.
statistic.
Chip. I don't even know where he's at.
No, I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Did you hear what he just said?
I don't know the actual statistics, so I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, thank you.
He said 80% of all homeless people in America are you.
It was an exaggeration. Chip can give you the exact amount.
So you said I was wrong when I said you were full of shit, but now I'm not wrong.
Who said what?
She said
almost
80%.
You can stop talking over me. I'm not one of these girls you can talk over. I don't
Okay, well,
fuck
then
with your
fuck off,
Jesus,
then.
so keep it over there.
You ain't special. You ain't gonna tell me what to do.
All right, well,
And you ain't special
so let
neither,
her clarify her point. Because Baldy, I allowed you to talk over me, and we went back and forth, but don't do that to her, please. So you said 80%
I said
of homeless was what now?
80% of the homeless population, which would be a majority of it, is homeless veterans.
Okay,
I'm not sure about that.
Do you all want me to tell you the
around.
statistics?
That's why I asked Chip to step in to give me
Chip,
the
go
exact
ahead.
number.
Okay, I just did a simple search. I'll tell you the two terms. One search term was what percentage of the homeless population are veterans, and the second search I did was what percentage of veterans are homeless. So the first result, 5 to 6% of the adult population in the United States, according to 2425 reports. As far as the likelihood to be homeless, the adult veterans are 50% more likely than other citizens to become homeless.
Okay, so 50%. That's what I'm going to hear. Because if they're already homeless, they're already there.
That's the probability of a veteran becoming homeless rather than a civilian that has never served, which is pretty much saying, don't know, we're just making something up. Here's 50% statistics.
Meanwhile, you said that the lady speaking on Georgia stuff was lying.
Yeah, it should be 0% for veterans.
Because you know what's funny?
I agree.
My uncle actually
there should be 0% homelessness too, but it exists.
I'm not going to sit here and be talked over. Lib, I'm just going to talk to you directly, and if he just keeps moving his mouth, he moves his mouth.
I was talking, and you decided to talk over me, so fuck you.
I think that was my bad, because I had interjected something, and I think that prompted him. So, but go ahead, Ms. Chaos.
Okay. So my uncle works for Georgia Power, and they are taking parts of land of people's homes, and sometimes they have to take literally half, and unfortunately, that's where half of their house is. So it would basically split their house in half. Do they pay them the appropriate amount per squareage? No. They're going to lowball them because Georgia doesn't want to pay out. They just want to keep doing it. Also, the mines in the North Georgia mountains are expanding for what? There's no reason for it, but I digress. But don't sit here and say that people are lying when shit is actually happening to them, and don't come up with a solution for safety when you don't give a shit.
You know what mineral rights are? When you buy a property, and if you sign a mineral right, if you sign the property, you buy the property, but you sign it also with somebody owning the mineral rights, which is anything below the surface. So they maintain the rights for mineral rights. So if somebody buys land in the mountains, then the mines expand because you don't understand how veins work within a mountain. They bought that property knowing that they do not own the mineral rights and they own underneath. So then it becomes a legality issue. So they bought that property knowing the risk. So that's beyond your argument.
Actually, no.
Yes.
Not knowing the risk, because mineral rights does not mean land rights. It doesn't mean that you get to fuck up the surface of that land because they don't own it.
But they own the mineral rights.
Doesn't matter.
They can go on. They can drill underneath the ground.
Right. It would be
house all you want.
You're right. It would be a legal issue, because at that point you'd have to fucking take that to court, because if your mineral rights then go into the ownership of the surface, then that becomes a problem. Now you're not just doing minerals; you're actually destroying the surface above, and would have to compensate for that.
Well, that's stripping.
Well, it depends on what the mineral rights are for.
So I just looked it up in the Georgia probate law, In Georgia, mineral rights can be severed from surface rights.
Yes,
They
it's
still
like that
have
in
to pay
Oklahoma
them,
too.
even if
That's
they
what I
take the
said.
surface off.
Yeah,
Which surface is stripping.
but
If they
but
strip,
here's the thing:
that is surface.
stealing somebody's land that they own. Because in this instance, the instance that we're talking about, Georgia Power Line, we're not dealing in mineral rights. I assume you were talking about the mining she was talking about, but in Georgia, they're taking your shit, your surface. You don't even own it because they can take it at any point. If they want to expand a power line,
Exactly.
they'll take your fucking land. I don't like that. I understand that we need to do certain things like put a highway in or whatever it is. But they just come in there and steal it. And then whenever Mamdani, for example, comes out and he's like, we're going to take your second or third vacation home if you don't live in it to help, reduce homelessness, everybody starts freaking the fuck out. So why do we not take things from people, from wealthy people, and give it to people who need it? Why not? Why is that a problem?
You just take shit from people. The same
They
way
take
these
shit
people
from people all the time. What are you talking about?
but
We're
they're
talking
not.
about
But
that
they're
very
not
thing.
taking shit from people.
Yes, they are.
Sir,
There
do you
is
go
a
to
transaction. There is a transaction in place. They buy the property.
Not always, because sometimes
course always.
the
You can't
electric
just
companies will
take
be like, oh
somebody's
no, well
shit.
we have to put in a power pole, and they will go up to the elderly, because a lot of people are older in Georgia because it's a retirement state majority, unless you're in Atlanta. They will go up to them and be like, oh well, it's gonna make
Are you
your
saying
things
they
better,
put a
They'll
pole
sweet talk
on
them
that
and then put
public
it up
easement
anyway.
portion? They already don't own that property.
What?
So they bought land for what? They paid for the land for what?
For nothing.
You do know, at least where I live, you've got a 10-foot easement and a 5-foot easement around the property.
But that's not what we're talking about.
They don't have those
That's
in
not what we're
Georgia
talking about.
all the time.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not
But
what we're
she's talking
about.
power poles now, so yeah, the conversation kind of shifted. So yeah,
We're not
There's
talking
not
about
really
just an easement
many
that you don't
easements in
own.
Georgia. South Georgia, maybe. North Georgia,
there's always
no.
easements. You have drainage easements. You have 5-foot drainage easement.
But
on the
that's
edge
not
of
what
your
we're talking
property
about.
That does
We're-
not
Not
back up.
That's not
everywhere.
what listen, you don't bulldoze a house for an easement. But we're talking about somebody whose house is going to be bulldozed by the power line company because they're expanding the power lines in order to support a data center, and they're taking somebody's house. That isn't about, there's an easement.
And this
You
is
knew
why
that
Georgians
whenever
are
you bought
tired
the
of-
house that was built in 1960.
But they're not taking it. There is a transaction.
Yes, they
in
are.
place.
They are. No. You see, now you're playing semantics. If you had a house and somebody said, we're taking your house, here's a check, they still stole your fucking house, bro.
Because you don't have
Do
to
you have
agree
proof?
in
Do
order
you have
for
proof
them
that that's
to
if
take
you
it.
have proof that that is actually happening, I will.
Oh my God.
I will
do it
back
all.
off of my entire conversation.
So,
with,
Lib, I'm just going to continue
I don't
my
believe
little
it's
thing
happening.
before I go to Fort. So
Crazy.
my uncle works in the hydroelectric up in the North Georgia for Georgia Power. So his little sector is trying to come up with a way for that not to happen because they're tired of the electric poles being in certain places that are not conducive to people who live there. Because we're very much nature people. So they're trying to come up with, and you can only do so much with Georgia with hydroelectric. But they're trying. They're not trying fast
where do you
enough
want them to
because
put
the big
power
wigs.
poles?
And I'm not talking to you. Did I say Baldy? I didn't think so. So
Calm down, lady.
they're trying, but the big wigs that are above them are already trying to do what that lady said in the video. They're working
Putting
on a
a
solution. It's
pole
just
on
not
your
going as fast.
property
I'd
or on the
really-
border of property lines is not the same thing.
Calm down, Baldy.
I am calm. I'm not screaming like she is.
Well, no, you're the one that continues to interrupt, and then you told her to calm down. You said, calm down, lady.
Well, because she was screaming.
But you were interrupting. The person that's interrupting is the one.
Screaming.
The person that no, she wasn't done. She was still talking. The person that is interrupting needs to calm down, and that's you, Baldy. You're the only one that keeps doing that.
I wait for a break in the conversation.
No, you don't. You interrupted me the entirety of our conversation.
No, I was talking many times, and you just started talking over me, and then you started saying I was interrupting you.
I am the host. So if I want to talk forever, yes, it does make it okay. Whenever I speak, that's it. Yes. And I allowed you to get away with it. I don't normally put up with that.
What? You talking over me?
No, you talking over me. And see this gaslighting shit? Do you think Israel has a right to defend itself?
Just segue into Israel.
Baldy, I'm just curious because this gaslighting shit is a tactic of
Israel
Zios.
A sovereign nation?
No, it isn't. It's a fucking colonizer outpost. That's what it is. Okay. So do you think
America's
that Israel has a right to exist?
Does America have a right to exist?
Does Israel have a right to exist?
Does America?
Okay. He's a fucking Zio. And see, these are the Zio tactics.
It's a stupid argument.
This is supremacy shit
so
right here. You believe that you are owed, you are entitled to 3,000 years ago. Did somebody promise this panel to you?
You can't make that argument about one and not make it about the other.
Did somebody promise this panel to you 3,000 years ago? Please, just answer the question.
Well, you want me to answer? Stop muting me.
Well, if you'd stop talking, you can hear the fucking question.
I heard you, but you can't make the argument about one and not make the same argument about the other. Because America colonized. America colonized, remember?
Yes, I do remember. Oh, trust me. I remember quite well, sir. Anyway, Miss Chaos, were you finished with the point you were going to make? And then I'm going to get to hate them, and then I'm going to get to T-Beans. So go ahead.
Because the Bible got brought up, and y'all are talking about you have to obey the law of the land. That was what was said when the Jewish people were not supposed to have a home, have a residence, have a state of authority, or anything else. God told them to obey the laws of the land while they traveled. That's it. That's the entire chapter. While they were traveling, they were to be good people and obey the laws of the land.
They couldn't even do that.
Here lately, no.
Well, I mean, I don't think they were doing it then either.
I can't speak
for they got kicked out of fucking everywhere.
I don't look into it all that often. But that's what was said.
Thank you, Sabrina. You good? Because I'm going to get to Hytham's been waiting for a minute.
I love y'all.
Thanks, Miss Chaos. Good to see you.
Have fun with this crazy butt. Oh, how do I get out of here now? They changed it. Hold on. I've got it.
Did they? Oh, you figured it out? Okay. Hytham, welcome in, man. Go ahead. And T-Beans, I'll get to you right after. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to ask Baldy, a follow-up question of yours. When you asked him, when he said that, basically he insinuated that he supports the existence of Israel. So a follow-up question. So do you support stealing $25 billion would be to waste on the meaningless war against Iran that America was dragged to by the Israelis? Do you support this? Do you support wasting $25 billion? I'm repeating the question in order to not give you any justification whatsoever to say, oh, I didn't understand what you said. Okay, my question again to you. You support wasting $25 billion on the war against Iran, and this war America was dragged to by the Israelis. This war doesn't have anything to do with the Americans or America, because America has never ever been assaulted by Iran. You support wasting $25 billion out of the American taxpayer, the American tax money? Go ahead. He's going to say I didn't understand your accent.
Baldy? Okay,
He's going to say, may you please repeat the question, but slow down, please?
Well, let me just show something to you, Baldy. I've been looking. This energy company wants eminent domain for power lines in Southwest Pennsylvania for data centers in Virginia. The company is seeking the right of eminent domain in Pennsylvania for data centers. It's happening. Yeah. It's a fact. Like the fact that you set up here and act like that's not happening, or that we don't even know if what she's saying is true. It's fucking true. They're doing it in every state, basically, across the country. Hey,
shut up.
Now Baldy is, he doesn't want to talk. Well, I mean, Hytham, did you want to make a statement? Because I'm not sure.
My statement, is basically interrelated to the topic you are talking about, which is, the homelessness in America. You know what I'm saying? This problem, in my opinion, is all by design. You know what I'm saying? Because it comes down to only one thing, which is, saving up money. And America had America saved up, the huge amounts of money that it wasted just recently during the past six months only on the Israeli meaningless wars, for example, there would be no single homeless American in America anymore. Can you imagine? Again, I'm repeating the number again. $25 billion would be, according to Al Jazeera, I watched just today, and it's estimated that it's $25 billion. This war doesn't have anything to do with the homeless Americans or the American taxpayers or the American even politicians. It's all for, sucking up to the nasty Israeli asses, that basically blackmailed Donald Trump to force him to get into this war. That's it. With the Epstein files, of course. We understand this because Epstein was a self-admitted Mossad agent, right? Baldy is not going to respond to me. He's afraid of me.
Have you seen Baldy before?
No, this is the first time.
Okay.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's scary.
Yeah, like the Zio tactics, like you can see that shit from a mile away nowadays.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hobie's forehead. Thank you, Hobie's forehead. Hats off to you. Although you're going to be hard pressed to find a hat that will fit that motherfucking forehead, but that's beside the point. Well, thank you, Hytham. I appreciate it. T-Beans, did you want to jump in there? Go ahead.
I just wanted to address, Baldy, did you say that you were a Christian?
Yeah, it's what he said.
Oh, we don't have much to say now. Okay. Well, let's talk about the churches then, because I'm pretty sure that God said that churches are to provide housing for the homeless. So I hope every night you go to sleep, you think about every person that you're accusing of being homeless, being a leech to you and your society, because you're so Christian. Let's just talk about Matthew, Isaiah, Psalms, Leviticus. You want to talk about what God wants? Maybe you should follow in his footsteps instead of your little orange Oompa Loompa that you bow down to. Lick the billionaires and continue doing what you do because there's a place for you and it ain't up there. Yeah, and I crashed my drone.
Okay, yeah. I love that, crashing drones. Well, thank you, T-Beans. I appreciate it. Now, Chip, I think we've made it full circle. Go ahead, man. What say you? Real quick, Baldy, are you at least still there? Okay. Well, if somebody's going to be up on the panel and not speak, then they don't need to be here. He was not promised a spot on the panel 3,000 years ago, even if he thinks that's true. Chip, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask him about his Christian thoughts and what he thinks is most important in life. And it sounds like, again, we're kind of taught from birth, in my view, in this country, that the most important thing is wealth accumulation, economic growth, GDP, all that nonsense. And he also mentioned national security. I think Hytham hit the nail on the head. The war that's currently being waged in Iran, as far as I know, they don't even have missiles that can reach the continental United States. You can argue the bases in the region maybe, but there's no reason. We're not threatened by them, no more than we were threatened by the Iraqis before that war. So it's more absurdity. And the fact is, everybody realizes in hindsight that the previous statements about the war is false. It's always a false narrative. But then when the current one comes out, they can't question it for some reason. It's, we got to do it now. Listen, it's always the same story. A bunch of rich people trying to kick somebody out of power who's stopping them from taking advantage of their country's resources or money or both. And they make some BS reason up to convince the public to get behind the effort. And this is no different. It's always the same shit. But as a Christian, I'll finish with this. My understanding is Jesus, who people who are Christian pretend or purport to believe in Jesus. Jesus was very clear in his message. If you go out and read the New Testament, it's very clear how he views social issues. He was the one who went and embraced the leper. He would go talk to the woman who's having to sell herself to survive. T-Beans. This is what the Christian doctrine is supposed to be. But 99.9% of Christians, for some reason, embrace this prosperity gospel where they just discard everything there is to do with the social aspects, and it's every man for himself, and don't take my money and all this stuff like this. It's this indifference to the suffering in others. And what I wanted to ask him was, before he left, I was going to ask him, have you ever been, meaning him, have you ever been homeless? Have you ever had a moment in your life where you didn't have a nickel to buy food? Have you ever had a time in life when you didn't have somebody who could help you out? And the chances of him answering yes to any of those is very little. Only when one has been through the suffering and to being deprived of or being in a vulnerable situation can you then see it from the other person's point of view. And I'm glad he's lucky he doesn't have to deal with that. But again, but for the grace of God, there go I kind of thing. I think people have gotten way too arrogant, way too selfish, and then the culture encourages it, unfortunately. And Islam is not the problem, by the way. They're the least of our problem.
For sure. And real quick shout out to Ball Talk, Hobie's Forehead, Puddin' Pop, So Sabrina, T-Beans. Thank you all so much for filling that gifting goal. I appreciate it. Was that Hobie's Forehead I heard rattling about? Yeah, go ahead.
I kid you not, I have a big headache. Even though
diabolical.
I'm not. It's not even a joke. But no, a lot of stress up there. I mean, I agree. I agree with what Chip said, right? And I think a lot of it is, and I think Christians are called more to to focus more on like the social issues, but they have kind of tethered that more towards the how the social issues are applied to the law and forgotten all about how we kind of like treat our neighbors, right? So and I think there's a difference there. We can't just say, hey, let's have the law be our moral guide, and if it's in the law, enshrined in the law, then that means that we're good. We've done our part. And that could be furthest from the truth. So I think at the heart at what Baldy was trying to get at was that, hey, you got to respect the law, but sometimes respecting the law calls for being able to say, hey, you know what,
thank you, Brian.
The law could be better. The law could be better, and it calls for an active action to make that law better. So I think sometimes we owe it, to the law when it comes to certain social issues to, stress test it so that we can be better versions of ourselves under a law that is more practical and more humane.
Yeah, and like you said yesterday, sometimes morality and the law conflict. I think you said that yesterday, right?
Yeah,
and that's absolutely right. I mean, there's the hierarchy of God, what is that, Chip? You may know the hierarchy of maturity or something like that, where you can realize that just because it's illegal doesn't mean that it's wrong or right. Doing things that are illegal for a good thing is should be accepted anyway. I don't know. Some people don't get that, but then you have law that allows corporations, for example, to displace somebody, and it's like, sure, they got a check, and they have to be given at least fair market value in I think most instances, but I'd rather have the damn house. But they steal, they take, they run off, like that business owner. Oh my God, I couldn't believe when I found out that she had gone out and unplugged the refrigerator that was holding food in it because it was affecting her business, because people don't like to see homelessness. Then you starve somebody out so you don't look at them. This is America.
Disgusting.
It is absolutely disgusting. Yeah. And
You've lost all sense of humanity.
Right. Culturally, I'm not sure that's going to take a long time to like change that, right? I don't think that's not something that you come back from overnight. Like, I thought we were getting better, but I don't think we are.
Well, it's like what Martin Luther King, Jr., fought for, right? Civil disobedience. I think that was in the heart of his doctrine. So, it's a similar application there. I mean, slavery was once, part of the law and enshrined in the law, and now it isn't. And why is that, right? It wasn't just because people automatically had this notion that, hey, it's bad. It was people had to, rise up and speak and use their voice and protest and call an action. So.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get the people that are in charge to change this without force, like actual force. Because they're just not. The midterms is kind of like the moment for me where it's for sure not going to happen, or maybe it'll happen. Depends on the outcome of that. Does anybody else share that kind of that being the moment?
I mean, I personally think the only way that things are going to change is if we get the right people in there, and I think it's going to take us generations to do that, unfortunately. I mean, I've been thinking about, like, the tax situation, and honestly, for me personally, I work, like, a mid job. I don't make great money, but I don't make horrible money either. But for me, if I didn't have to pay taxes, the extra, $13,000 that I pay out of my paycheck would be life-changing for me. What would it be for a millionaire to lose an extra $2 million a year for themselves? What would it be for them to have to? They're still going to have their mansion. They're still going to eat their cake. They're still going to sit on the beach on their vacations. They're still going to have those employees at the end of the day. So why should I have to make the sacrifices whenever somebody else's life wouldn't even change, but mine would? Like, why we, the working class, always have to take the hit? When are we going to have enough?
Yeah, when do they have enough?
This is all by design.
But
they're willing to make you suffer. Yeah. This is by the way intentionally. You know what I'm saying? This is the modern day slavery that has been practiced against you, not just Americans, but the Western people generally speaking, and also Middle Eastern people by the very same people, i.e., the Zayojis. You understand? Because those people aim at decreasing the global population. So they just want you to suffer and to never think about having kids or making a family to decrease the global population. That's it. That's the end game.
Yeah. I want to kind of speak to, like, with AI, I think the reason why these data centers are very important, especially the big tech, is because as the AI models advance, you have individuals that maybe even fresh out of college or university, or that could really use the AI, and if they have a profound spirit of entrepreneurship, I think they can really start to penetrate the market and be big competition for a lot of these big leaders in the market. You have a lot of accounting firms that used to be big four accounting firms, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst & Young. But now PwC partnered with OpenAI to provide these applications directly to CFOs. So you're having accounting firms that are saying, look, we're being unalived here, because now you have individuals, you have AI tax applications like TaxGPT or Blackcore, for example, Solomon AI. A lot of these tax prep softwares that came out, and now these accounting firms are saying, all right, well, if we don't create our own, we're done. We're done for. So I think it's a real game changer, and I think what's going to happen is that this disruption could actually lead to better times. So I don't think things are over. I think that big tech is saying, hey, let's get as much data as possible, because everything is going to change in a matter of like 5 or 10 years, and not just jobs, but I think leaders in the marketplace may not be the same leaders in the next 5 or 10 years. So.
But let's be clear about what they use that data for. It is to manipulate. They use the data to manipulate people. That's its sole purpose, whether that's to advertise and sell you something or to change your vote. That's why they need all of that, because it gives them insight. But, you know, to your point about this AI stuff, I want to play, this is Jay Davis in an interview. Jay Davis is the guy that was the CEO of Mutiny, which is the company that Hunter Peterson, that did the Spirit Airlines thing, tried to latch onto and, you know, call it a collective. But this kind of mentality is actually not uncommon with these people. Just listen to what he says.
And I think one of the most important metrics for every brand owner is going to be revenue per employee. And we're all kind of like, who can build a brand that does $100 million a year with 5 employees? Jolie. Yes, like Gillette. Yeah. Yeah, I think he hit like 50 with 4 or 5 people. That is a brand doing $200 million a year in revenue. They should have 20 employees. That's just ego stuff. Like hiring a lot of people can often be an ego thing. I don't want to tell people how much money we're making. So instead what I do is I tell them I have 300 employees. Two like the key metrics I look at is like revenue per employee per year, and then yearly revenue per customer.
I mean, think about that. He's like bitching and upset and like, you know, you're not successful because you hired too many people. You employ too many people, and it like having an ego problem that you employ a bunch of people. Like he's looking at that as if it's a bad thing. This is their mentality, and especially with AI, they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars and employ the fewest people possible. This isn't good for us. I'm not sure that because with the car, it revolutionized things. The Industrial Revolution revolutionized things, and it changed the way we work, but more jobs were created than lost. I don't see that being the case with the AI. And with people with that kind of greedy-ass mentality like that running shit, we become just an annoyance to these people. Like, even though you're working, you're still, might as well be fucking homeless. The dregs of society. I don't know. We're combating things like that. It is what it is. I don't know. I mean, how do y'all feel about that? And maybe I'm taking it worse than it is, but I see that to be very problematic. Nobody has any feelings about that? Or are my headphones not working?
Sorry, I'm at the office. I just got off a call.
Okay. Well, I mean, either way. Kara says it sounds pretty accurate. Yeah, it's where we're at. How do you combat that? I don't know. For me, the midterms, we'll see how the swing goes. If it doesn't go the way it needs to go, there is no other option than the one that none of us want to take. That's my read of the situation. If we see some, kind of movement, do what?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we see movement that way, maybe there's a glimmer, but I don't think that it's going to go the way that we want it to. And if that's the case, I think we have one option left.
Unfortunately, and I think that option is looking closer and closer, because I have a very real fear that these midterm elections are going to be painful, to say the least. I think that, especially on the Democratic side, yes, we've seen a blue wave come through. However, we know from history how that ends up working out. We'll see that blue wave come through, and then everybody will be like, oh, we've got it in the bag. I don't have to go vote.
Right. Yeah, that may be
so
true also.
We've become complacent.
Yeah, or we win several seats. We still win the presidency, but then we stop demanding accountability of our own because we're like, oh, It's not him. It's not the orange fucker. And that's not good.
Yeah.
We have to keep that going. We got to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to, like, it's gotten bad enough where like my family and I both are like, holy crap, just if we can just have Bush back in there right now. And that really opens your eyes to see, like, are we just going to be okay with this continuing? Just somebody that's less horrible than what we're dealing with now? Or are we going to stand up for ourselves and say, hey, no, listen, we're done taking your shit?
We have to. It's like when gas goes way the fuck up and it's at 5+, when it comes back down to 350, everybody's like, oh, thank God. Even though before it rose, it was $2. So we're still paying more, but we're happy about it. Same is true here. It got really, really shitty. And then you go back to being, it's just kind of shitty and it's better, but it was better before. And we just accept that. And I don't accept that.
Hey, Lib, can I hop in for a minute? Because I've got to go into an appointment. So I'll just say one quick thing and then get out of your way. I'm sorry, when you were like, does anyone have any opinion on that? I'm like, join. Oh my gosh, that was horrific. That's insane. That's absolutely insane that he said that and said that out loud. Because you know what, let me tell you, if they want to do that, fine. But make those numbers, not fine, but make those numbers 100% public. Because if I find out that you are netting $2 million annually off my labor, you better be giving me 1.5. Like, that's insane. Right. That's insane. And, you know, I'll maybe come back later to talk about data centers, but I got to run. But holy shit, that's all.
Yeah, and it showcases the mentality of these people. And thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Yeah, everybody else was muted up. But yeah, it really is a problem to me that those are the, you know, masters of the universe, as it were, and they're just continuing to go on and doing this stuff to take as much, extract as much from us, give us nothing in return, pay no taxes, you know, really don't benefit society in many ways anyway. It's just gross. And I think we're going to have to start getting more and more pissed off about it.
Well, in the way that I look... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mrs. Beans. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the way that I look at it is like, we're not getting angry with these people for hoarding their wealth, but you're going to get mad at the grandma that lives down the street because she's got too many cat crates outside. Like when are we going to be angry about the correct things? Like they're contributing nothing and we are not mad enough. I don't get it.
Yep. Hytham?
Yeah, because they muzzle you whenever you speak out against them. They call you names like, for example, conspiracy theorists or antiseptic, you know, and so on and so forth. So they know what they do. And this is the only way for them to not just control, but also enslave you, to deprive you of your wealth, of your money that you deserve, and to also deprive you of your right of freely expressing your opinion against them. So it's so easy, and also to deprive you of your morality, to make it so easy on them to control you, and you know. So it's not just all about, you know, hoarding money, because they actually owe the vast majority of cash in the world.
Yeah.
The biggest corporations are owned and run by them. You know, even food corporations, multinational pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer and so on and so forth, are owned and run by them. So they don't need money anymore, but they need just to control you, to undermine you as much as they can, just to be able to control you easier, because those people have an ideology. Well, anyhow, I mean, those people basically look down their noses at us, at all of us. You know, they call us goyim, goys, and so on and so forth. So it's legal according to their ideology and their mindset, to use and abuse us.
And strip us of our dignity. And let me just point something else out. When I came back to the computer, I see a modal up here. It says remove Hytham. Hytham's live content contains themes that some may find uncomfortable. If they remain in your live will be unavailable to some audiences. Now, this was before I think you even started talking that this popped up. Hytham didn't say any fucking thing that was now, I'm not going to drop you, but it says flagged for misinformation.
What misinformation did I say?
Exactly. Yeah, and even when you speak, like not only do they call you names, say that you are a conspiracy theorist or insert whatever fucking shit here, but they do this fuckery. Like yesterday, I ran the numbers. My videos collectively had received over 20,000 views while I was live, and yet my viewers never went over 40 yesterday. Not once. That makes no sense whatsoever. And I was only live for like 6 hours or something. The fuckery is among us, and like, Hytham getting a fucking violation for absolutely nothing. This is how they do it. So even if we are pissed off, now we don't really have a forum with which to speak. So we're going to have to do something about that too. And now they put you in a situation where there are all these things that have to happen in order for us to be able to properly organize and get shit together and fight back. But we can't, because there's too much shit that has to get done. And like me, I squirrel too fucking much. I mean, I will get started on something, fucking get sidetracked, and you know what I mean?
They don't want us talk.
Crazy.
They don't want people talk.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, what's insane to me is that, like, the algorithm pulled me yesterday, and it was very scary, I will have you know. But some of the Republican lives that I kind of nosed in on yesterday, we all want the same shit. We just hate each other so much because of the propaganda that they've made us hate each other so much that we can't just come together and do it together, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Ants or not, but when we all stand up, there's not much that they can do to stop us.
Yep.
But the problem is they have us fighting amongst each other when we should be fighting the 1%.
Divide and conquer.
It just flabbergasts me. Like, and them putting the idea that unions are terrible in people's heads. I mean, it just, if a company is fighting so hard against something, you want it.
Thank you, Brianna. Right. No, yeah, when they're actively doing stuff to fuck with you, that means that they're afraid of what you're doing. Because if they weren't worried about it, they wouldn't bother with it. They would put their energy somewhere else. So maybe it should be flattering, that they choose this place, the lowly liberal loudmouth show. Whatever. But so I don't even know what that looks like moving forward when they've gotten such a handle on it. And thank you, Brianna. I appreciate you fulfilling that gifting goal. I don't know what that looks like. Chip, like, what do you think, man? I mean, is it just going to have to come down to just battling shit out in the streets with the fucking government? I mean, what do you do?
Well, I think it's all going to be contained, because the level of militarization, the increased budget for ICE, which is going to in my view, turn into a domestic disturbance police force. Their budget is humongous. They're building all sorts of detainment centers nationwide. And I think what the AI system will eventually do is it'll filter communications, purchasing habits, known associations, travel patterns, and it will create a database, probably already has, of people who speak probably similarly to the way myself, yourself, and others. And it will be very, very difficult once that web is established to push beyond that. The only tools we really have is outside of the internet, which is exponentially more difficult to organize. Not that it hasn't happened in the past, but what I think is going to happen, again, I don't like that this is going to happen, but I think the money, if you're going to bet money, is that the American public is going to continue to take it. We're seeing people stand up about data centers, but when push comes to shove and the commissions decide to do it, they're just doing it. They're running roughshod over the public. There are a few townships that are an exception where they got so angry and, the squeaky wheel, but they're the exception. This eminent domain thing, it's hard to make the argument that putting in additional power for corporate data centers is a benefit to the public. It's a benefit to private corporations. And yet, we have a system that's corrupt, that is broken, and that can't be fixed through the mechanisms within which it was created. So I don't think the public's ready to rise up. I think Americans have gotten accustomed, not to blame anybody, it's just I think most people can't go there mentally. They don't like the idea of having to do radical things yet. And like I said earlier, and again, I don't take any pleasure saying this, I think by the time people are angry enough based on the changes that adversely affect their lives, I believe that they will not be able to use the very tools that are currently available to them to put the leverage and power that will create some kind of change.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. We need Ball Talk to come up here and set us all straight.
Well, if you want to hear some foul language, yeah, she'll definitely be up. Bring the heat.
Well, she is good at reaching and grabbing the fire that exists within people, one way or the other.
I mean, I'm kind of saddened by it because, I grew up here. I'm almost 60, and I've just realized that staying here is a choice, but it's also accepting the negative side of staying. And I just can't see myself staying here. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to stay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see, I just can't, I don't know that I'd be able to live with myself to leave and not stay and fight because, this is home, and if you aren't willing to fight for your home, what are you willing to fight for? I mean, I understand people leaving, like it makes sense to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a stubborn asshole.
Well, I think the similar thing is, I don't want to see cars speed down the road, but I'm not going to go stand in traffic to try to stop one. And I think, unfortunately, that's the choice we have right now is things are speeding ahead, but the only way to stop it is to get out in the street. If we have 20,000 of us, then the car can't get through all of us, but if it's one or two of us, then it's going to run us over.
Right. I mean, that's a fair point. I saw this video where they did like a social experiment where they had one person go out there and start dancing. I don't even think there was music. They just started dancing and everybody's looking around. I'm like, fucking idiot. What are you doing? And then they put another person out there dancing and people didn't look at them as crazy, but they were still side-eyeing them. But once the third person got out there, that was when it became acceptable, right? Where everybody else wanted to join. It's like, oh, they're doing something. I want to join too. So then other people started coming, and then it just grew, and it became this like big ass group of people that were all dancing for no reason. We need those three people. You know what I mean?
And to take it to combat, nobody wants to be the first one out of the foxhole. But
that's right.
As soon as you see 3 or 4 other people start running, usually the rest of the group will start screaming and running.
Yeah. I guess being, of course, every time, for example, in my life where I stick my neck out for what I deem to be the greater good, it gets lobbed off and everybody's like, man, did you see that? They fired his ass real quick. It's like, I'm glad that wasn't me. Fuckers, So I think that's my hesitation is that I don't know that people will follow. I don't know that they will. Well, it's been my experience that they won't.
It's a process. I mean, history tells us these things very clearly of when the tide tilts, when the balance of power shifts. Right now, if people just do the math, if you're let's just say you're a lower middle class person, let's say you're struggling to get by, you might make $50,000 a year, you might have your wife working, you have a couple kids, they're going to school, you're seeing all these changes happening, and you're looking at what you want to do, you're not happy about it, you don't like the inflation, you don't like the fact that you're having to pay, ransom for health insurance. But then the question is, what are your alternatives? So you vote, that doesn't change jack shit, you get bad or worse. So then what are your choices? Well, you could join some sort of underground movement, but then what happens if something goes wrong? You get arrested, you go to jail, you get hurt. Now your family's in really bad shape. And so the question is, where do you draw the line? What do you weigh those odds? And I think most people right now look at it as it's sort of a fool's errand. You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And what has to change with that is that we need to have, just like, again, it's the very similar circumstance people in Germany found themselves in back in the late 20s, early 30s. They were just desperate and they had no hope for the future. And that level of desperation breeds courage because your current situation is so bad and so unpleasant that the risks associated with any kind of change is like, whatever, let's do it. Who cares? I got nothing to lose. And we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, but we should start by boosting the awareness of the masses first.
Yep, and that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they hate it the most when they hear you speak against them. And that's why they keep restricting us. And yeah, you understand? And they put, they first made TikTok as a national security threat on the most powerful nation in the world, which is really, really laughable. TikTok is a national security threat. You know why? This is not laughable. They take such a thing seriously. That seriously. Because they hate it when they see people not sleeping at the wheel anymore. Aware people are the hardest to control.
Yep.
And that's why they hate us Muslims, because we understand the mindset of those people. We understand them firsthand.
That's why they vilify you.
We know how they think. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and sadly, some become disillusioned to this lack of being able to change anything or even have any kind of appreciation for that. I wrote an article somewhat similar about this. It was actually related to the Unfuck America tour and what they did with that shit. I'm gonna put it down in the comments here if y'all want to read it. It's not that long. You'll have to delete the spaces between the COM and then put a period for the dot to get that to work. That's my Substack there. But I don't know. It's becoming almost hopelessness. And then these situations that we're in are ripe for con artists to come and take your shit. What little you do have. Because you become an easier mark, easier to find because everybody's desperate. So almost everybody is a mark, and they want something, and so you can promise the world, and then all of a sudden you ain't got shit left because they took it all for themselves. These fuckers, that Spirit Airlines shit, that really just irritates the fuck out of me. Such a great idea, right? I mean, is there any way, Chip, you think that people can, with collective monetary action, make huge changes or give themselves more control?
With the proper organization, of course. That the challenge, though, is that if the organizing starts, which it has on some platforms, but let's just say it started to happen here, there's a big movement, they're just going to close it down. They're going to shut it down, and the FBI will come out and visit people who are promoting it, which I'm sure they already have. And they take that seriously. Also, look at the boycott laws. The one entity that is most vulnerable to boycotting, the state of Israel, has used their money and power to go into 38, 39 states and make it against their contract laws and against other relief aid laws for you to get contracts or relief from the government if you don't pledge to never support or engage in boycotting, divesting, or sanctioning Israel. That's insane. That's almost 80% of the United States have these laws in place. That's crazy. So again, what Nick Fuentes and guys like him, not his particular viewpoint, but his approach strategy-wise, is to change the makeup of the government, the institutions, the think tanks. That's going to take 40 years.
Yep.
We don't have 40 years to escape the web. The walls are closing in really rapidly.
I don't even think we have 5 years.
I don't think we have 12 months.
No. Yeah, ball talk, the United States of Israel. I mean, basically, yeah, because the way the AI is working now, because they're already able to use AI to go through and sift through 8 billion and more now because it's been a month or two since I've seen the numbers. 8 billion social media posts a day. So they're like, they know what people are doing, that what they're talking about, and they'll be able to send in their bots. That's what these data centers are for. That's what the data centers are for. I mean, think about that. They try to convince people to go in like shit on it. It's like, people would stop using ChatGPT to run their budgets or whatever. This wouldn't happen. That's not what is causing all of this, electric needs. It's the fucking AI that's doing it. It's running those shit and facial recognition software. And within 5 years, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a single thing untouched by it. I mean, already customer service. Now, if you reach out to a company, almost certain that they have an AI customer service agent. You know how you used to click on the little chat button? Sometimes you get an actual person. Now it's all fucking AI. And honestly, I mean, it works pretty good, but somebody used to have to do that job. And it paid decently, I don't know. We're kind of fucked. Elodie, what's up?
Hello. How are you?
Doing fine. Just getting through it.
Yeah.
Ball talk.
I work for a large retailer, and so I've gotten to see, even since 2017, how jobs have been consolidated simply because of the introduction of AI.
Even in retail space, huh?
Even in retail space.
So how is that functioning? Like what?
So, literally a decade ago, if you were over a department, you would personally be in charge of ensuring that your in-stock was correct. You would order the product, you would choose the amount, right? Maybe 2 decades ago. I'll give it. And then, then they started with like your basic, like, computer system. You tell the computer what's out of stock. By telling it what's out of stock, it would up the order. And then eventually they introduce AI, right? And let me tell you, this has been the worst experience ever. Because what happens, right, is AI doesn't know when these stores are struggling, because what they did is they made everything have a location. So like the system knows where things are because you tell it where things are. Well, imagine, let's say, you don't finish all the freight, right? That computer thinks that even though there's a receive date, right? That computer thinks, oh, suddenly it just vanished. It's just gone. So what's it going to do? Order more.
Order more.
And so guess what happens?
That's funny.
Being in retail spaces.
Now you got another order and your fucking the back of the store is full.
Correct. But when they did that, then the stores got greedy and they said, oh, well, now since we can have AI do a bunch of stuff, we'll consolidate the department leader jobs. We'll hire less associates because now they don't have to do these jobs. Well, guess what that means? That means you might get 8 truck tall pallets in one night and expect 3 people to work it. 3 people can't work that.
Right.
And then, eventually the trucks just start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you run out of space in your back room. You don't have enough hands to actually work the freight, and they don't want to hire more because they say your head count is enough.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, you know what? At some point, that's going to bite them in the ass because now they got a bunch of fucking product they can't move, and now they got their money tied up in inventory that's, it's going to take a while to go, and then the AI is still, but also it could be real easy for an employee to accidentally let the AI know that everybody bought, all of these cases that just came in. Somebody just so now the store's getting even more shit, and it's like, why are we running out of money?
For a couple of decades, 90%, no, I think it's closer to 95%, maybe even 99% of the orders are created at the checkout. So you don't have to tell the system that something was purchased. You just have to tell the system when something was stolen. 99% of the orders through the retail space that I work in is created at the cash register.
So to that, I'd say, oh, I am so sorry, Mr. Manager. I must have hit 3 extra zeros on that stolen product. My bad. Total mistake. If only I was AI, I wouldn't have done that. That sounds like it's, the stupidity of some of the people making these decisions. It doesn't surprise me because I've dealt with these people, and it's going to come back and bite them in the ass, and they're going to start wondering why they're losing fucking money. Because AI, the nuances, it's not so great at that.
When a company is too big to fail, because they've driven out all of the competition in the area, they don't care because they know that literally they're the only people that can work in that area. They can keep prices low. They can kick out competition. And unfortunately, without naming the company, this company is known for that, okay?
Yeah, Kara just said Coke just rolled out a new AI ordering system. It's terrible. I used to deliver for Coke, and these fucking, even this is before AI, but I would order, I'd have a route, I'd hit these stores on certain days. And so some days I'd have really big orders, that I'd have to deliver. And some days I'd have really small orders. And I had this one store, and they would only give you in the back stock 1 pallet, but it couldn't be any more than 2 or 3 layers high until the weekend. And when the weekend come, he was like, you can have it about halfway up for backstock so that they could work it, so they could make it through the weekend. I mean, I had that store down like clockwork. I knew what the sales were. I didn't need numbers in a spreadsheet to figure it out. It was just, I'd been doing it for so long, I had it down. But these fucking greedy ass managers, I come in there one day and they brought in 5 fucking pallets of shit into this store. And I walked in there and I went straight to the store manager. I'm like, okay, I don't know who the fuck did this, but I'm going to have to get your signature on a refusal for this. And because what they do is they'll order shit on contract for a store that doesn't want it and then force it down their throats. So when I called that manager, he was like, no, they're taking that. This is part of their agreement. This is, my district manager. I'm like, well, if you want me to work this fucking product, you're going to come down here and you're going to do it with me, because it was an insane amount of product. I mean, it would have taken fucking 4 or 5 months to go through the amount of product that they sent in. But sure enough, here he fucking came. He brought 3 other dudes with him. But I only tell that story because now you've got AI. You ain't going to call these motherfuckers up and be like, hey, so they're going to start launching product at these fucking companies if it's part of the distribution network with Coke, because even their managers before were stupid and shitty like that. And Coke is,
it's funny.
The more product they can shove down your throat, the better. So, it'll backfire.
It's funny. I used to run the department that was majority vendors, actually around COVID time. And all of those vendors always came to me with a notebook. They're like, hey, we've got this feature. Hey, we've got this new product. Can we approve it? Except there was one alcohol vendor that couldn't get his stuff. And so he would do stuff like that. But Coke didn't do stuff like that. Now this was in Hawaii, so the companies that brought in the different alcohol weren't the same as mainland, but
now the one that I worked for was like a franchise distributor, so it wasn't official Coke. You know, it was
that explains it.
Right. And so it was what was it called? Green Country, I think, Green Country Beverage or some shit like that. It was since bought by Coke, I think, because of shit like that, giving Coke a bad name. But if that is happening anywhere else, you know, because I mean, they did that shit all the time. I ended up leaving because of it, because I got that new regional manager. And he just kept doing that because what he's doing is trying to boost his numbers and make it look like he's doing a good job because sales are up. And he was doing it by just shoving shit down their throats. And when any of these distributors start doing that, these stores are going to be like, no, fuck you. Now, this is Walmart, and half of my back store is filled with fucking Coke and Pepsi and 7-Up products. Like, no. It's like, well, it was AI. It wasn't us. It was AI. Fuckers.
Can I talk?
Yeah, Kibi, what's up? I saw your comment.
Well, we're all focusing on this. This is almost like the argument of automation back in the 80s, which barely was anything. But we're dealing with, like, we're just starting AI agents now, and they should come into their own in the next year. But wait until innovators or organizations, which should be around 2031 organizations, that's when they actually start thinking for themselves. And what happens when you have cameras all over the whole store, in the back room, in the storeroom, and this robot can, a bit like, I'd hate to use HAL from 2001, but it basically can watch everything and knows all the inventory. You wouldn't have the problem you're talking about, or what ELODIE, I can't spell it. They'll be able to handle all that, you know?
They don't need a robot for that. Yeah. Because the tools that are
It's going to happen, by the way.
Yeah. Now, I saw there was a prototype, I think it was in Japan. I could be wrong. But it was like, it was kind of like, it was like a robot, but basically what it did is it would go down aisles and it would see, because barcodes would be missing, right, what product was gone that way. And that would take over someone going through and physically scanning outs or something to that effect.
Oh yeah, robot.
Yeah. Well, like I take your point, Kibi, but it's not here yet, and you're assuming that a timeline on something because you don't really know when it's going to get to that level. Is it going to be possible to keep track of that stuff in the manner that you say? Sure. I mean, I don't know how soon it'll be, but sure, at some point they'll be able to do it. But right now, what we're seeing is the unalivement of jobs and that transition period between, you know, when something starts to revolutionize, this revolution that we're in, and then the after, once it's all done and it's a done deal, and now you figure out what comes after. It's,
well, maybe we should stop thinking about jobs and people living and find something else. I just think of UBI as a training wheel, but eventually I don't want that. I want, like, no money at all.
Stop thinking about jobs and trying to live.
No, people should still live. You know, I guess I watch too much Star Trek, but, you know, basically...
I think maybe so.
Yeah, basically, you don't need a job. You just, I don't know, find a hobby. You do what you want to do.
Hey, there's people that look like me in Star Trek, okay? So, took offense to that.
Well, I mean, look, sure, UBI, but again, nothing is free. They're not going to give you, I mean, they could, but that's not how it's going to work out. They're not going to give you money without exchanging that for something.
Don't ever rely on the business owners. You have to get it from your congressmen and the senators. You have to push them to push it.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
The billionaires aren't going to give it to us.
Yeah, but they're owned by those people. The politicians are owned by those corporations.
We need to have such a greater voice that they can't ignore it.
That's what we've been talking about pretty much this whole show. We're not there. They don't care. They don't listen. For example, when a data center goes up and people in the town are like, no, and they fucking have massive protests about it at the city council meetings where they just vote it in anyway, and it doesn't even bring many jobs. Those data centers aren't bringing a lot of jobs, but they suck the water supply up, they increase your electric bill because they don't care.
Well, then you have to go to option number 2. I don't know if you heard about Cody Wilson, 3D printer gun. I hate to say that word, but you can't say it. He just said, no, his philosophy is you create a technology that once it's created, you can't really undo it. It's just there and it changes society. It's real politics.
Well,
so do something, it may not, technology, it may, I don't know.
To that point, there was a city, I'm pretty sure it was a city councilor, and they were protesting the data center, right? And so coming into this vote, one of the city counselors' homes got shot at 12 times. They still voted for it. Like, even with the ghost pew pew, which, can't even be used many times, I don't think. I think they end up breaking, pretty quickly. Well, but, even actually, with that, like...
That's in 2012 when it came out, yeah, it broke. But the only ones that broke, believe it or not, was the ones that were done in Australia, was done by cops. So either they were incompetent and didn't know how to print it, they used PLA, or they purposely made it weak to scare people. But everyone on the forums, it worked just fine. And that's actually 10 years old. It moved far beyond that.
Crazy.
It could do multiple rounds now.
Crazy. Now, T-Beans, I thought I saw your hand up. Was that... Did you have your hand up? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that I think that it's absolutely hilarious that it is certain people pushing AI and they're taking all of these jobs, but the first thing that 90% of those people say when you say you can't afford to live is go and get a job. Well, you're taking them away from us, you hypocrites.
That's a fucking fact.
Sorry, but AI is absolutely horrendous, especially in the medical field. I've already talked about that. It is screwing over normal American people, and it needs to be gone.
To that point, it will get better. Those things will improve, and they will get better. So, it can revolutionize everything. You know what I mean?
Have you seen?
We're not there yet.
There are some people use AI for helping their whenever they talking with their doctor to determine what's wrong with them. They fed, I think it was ChatGPT, but one of them they fed their information from all of their
labs and shit.
Everything they to help them find something.
Which I will let you know is not covered under HIPAA, so anybody then can grab your medical information. Just so you're well aware of that.
And that's a fair point.
Have y'all seen?
They'd have to give permission first, but that's a great point. That if you're a medical person, please understand that when you share that information, if you're doing that like on your own to help you out, you are violating HIPAA. Because a lot of people may not understand that. Sorry, go ahead, Pyre.
I'm sorry. Have y'all seen the commencement speech?
Tallarico?
Where she starts to commend AI and the entire audience boos her.
Oh, no. So who was the speaker?
Erica?
It was a random person. It was just a random person at a random speech. And she was giving a speech at a arts college, and she was saying that AI is the future, and the entire audience booed her. And then she tried to kind of walk it back, and they booed her even more. And it was beautiful. Because they're artists. She's speaking in front of an artist group.
Wow.
And she's trying to go for it. I'm
gonna
walk
it's 3
away.
hours. Let me see if I can't find this.
She said it was the next industrial revolution. Everybody
exactly.
I mean, it is. Sadly,
but when you're speaking in front of a college course,
is that her
of artists? Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so let me because I'm not queued up to that spot. I'm not sure where she says it, so let me try to rewind a bit. That seems maybe a bit too much. All right, let me sit here.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Well done. Well done. And thank you for the invitation, President Cartwright and
I like those earrings.
Provost Buckwater. Thank you. And good evening,
Little Gotti.
UCF Knights. How's everybody doing out there?
It sounds really good at the beginning.
Before I dive into my remarks,
How long was her speech? Do you know? That way we don't listen to too much.
I don't know. I only saw the clip of
the
when
end.
She says
Okay.
AI is the next industrial revolution and got booed.
Then let me. Yeah, let me.
I found a 47-second clip.
Okay, so
it'd be nice to get a little bit before for the context, you know.
Oh, here it is. Okay, well, it's 6 minutes so far. It's 6 minutes so far. So let me go.
Just go a little bit before.
This is a couple of minutes before. Here we go.
and I don't just host a room full of doctors.
Doctors.
We invite business leaders, prolific academics, economists, policy leaders, artists and musicians, journalists, athletes, and entrepreneurs. These are experts who don't often sit in the same room together. Now you might ask, what are musicians and artists doing at a medical innovation conference? Well, art, music, and theater are medicine. And research shows they're playing an even more critical role in human health than ever before. We had, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We had entertainers like Sierra, John Batiste, and Seal, who understand their power is much more far-reaching than just entertainment. They nourish well-being. Together, great minds can converge, and breakthroughs absolutely will happen. Now that said, we are living in a time of profound change. That's an understatement, right? Profound change. Change is exciting, very exciting, and let's face it, change can be daunting. The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Oh, whoa. What happened?
She's so clueless.
I struck a chord. May I finish? Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. Okay, we've got a bipolar topic here, I see. Okay.
No, it's good at polar, man.
And now, AI capabilities are in the palm of our hands. And oh, I love it. Passion, let's go. Okay.
Something AI doesn't have.
AI is beginning to challenge all major sectors to find their highest and best use. Okay, I don't want any giggles when I say this. We have been through this before, these industrial revolutions.
No, we haven't.
In my graduation era, we were faced with the launch of the internet. Think the very beginning of email and cell phones that were the size of briefcases, okay? And texting, that did not exist. I know it sounds amusing, but at that time, we had no idea how any of these
conflating email with AI is the ultimate expression of and I hate to say it, that's fucking boomer shit, right?
That is boomer shit. I dealt with it too.
Right. I had an email once, but
we
AI
used to walk in next door and mail it and stuff.
Yo,
and then we didn't have to.
She
It
did
changed
not
everything.
read her audience at all. She did not read the audience at all.
None. She deserved every fucking boo and every ooh.
Yeah. I hate that speech more than anything else.
That's fucking funny. She's like, passion. And I'm like, yeah, it's something that AI just doesn't have. And yet you're going to replace these musicians and these artists with AI.
Right. And that's the funny thing is she's speaking in front of a college of art. Like, this isn't like, they're not physicists, they're not astrophysicists, they're not, biologists. These are art students. And she's telling them that AI is going to replace them. And she's expecting applause.
Yeah.
You're right.
Go into the world like that where your future doesn't exist.
She should have just reframed it a little bit, but and said that AI will be a tool that'll give you the power that the big corporations have to be your own, to control your own IP, to control your own stuff. It's you and the AI together.
Well, what it sounds like to me is we're the people who are going to be shoveling the shit behind the elephant of AI. That's what she sounds like. She's saying is just let AI take the lead, and we'll shovel the shit behind AI.
Yeah. So
at the moment, we don't have like when I saying the ones that OpenAI say will come in 2031. We don't have that AI yet. So right now you need like one person to work with. In fact, even when we get that level of AI, you're still going to need like one human working with an AI.
Here, let me.
It's going to be a partnership.
Yeah, Hobie's forehead. Go ahead. Just push your way in there. Shouldn't be too hard. Everybody can see you.
So there's a CFO of my company, and he's trying to demo an AI solution, but in a real time and on a live call, the AI solution messes up. But then you have the ability to ask the AI solution, hey, what happened? Reconcile this difference. This is not like what we were looking for. This is not what we were expecting. So as he starts to kind of like type that in, it's like, don't worry, we're going to get to the bottom of this. To the client, the AI model says, oops, that is interesting. I can't seem to figure out where this went wrong. Hold on a second. And then it's like 10 minutes later. So the processing is taking too long. Would you wish to continue? It's like, yeah, of course.
Wow.
It's a freaking live demo. So, I mean, it's
a live demo in front of clients who are about to pay you for this thing they can't figure out what the fuck it did wrong.
Yeah. So then, and
sales pitch.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. So it wasn't my project, wasn't my initiative, but I had to step in and I said, you see, and this is why, people are there so that, we can, build trust and, as this is an emergent technology that could be used, to, just give a staple kind of
a tool to help that you can use to make you more productive, but at this point, not to replace. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: the difference between like what the speaker was saying is that the internet was exposing, like from a tech perspective, people's data points, right? But the difference here with AI is now that we were able to gather people's data, we were able to prep their data, we were able to review their data to curate their wants, their needs, but also how they can be influenced, how they can be interfaced with, and now you can process and deliver that to a particular audience that wants to market directly to you, to influence you in politics. That's the big difference there.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, we're Kibi. I know you're all about it. I get it. And I'm intrigued, at least, by what the future looks like, just because I've been a techie my whole life. I do like it, but at the same time, people do have to pay bills, And until we figure out how to do that first, because people should come first here, we shouldn't be doing things that are going to like completely unalive everybody's well-being, their ability to take care of themselves, their ability to, live. Like the internet to me appears to be one of the probably best and worst things that's ever happened to humankind at this point, aside from maybe the bubonic plague. But
so I want to say this. I want to add to. I don't know who was just speaking, but I want to add this. So as a 51-year-old who has quite literally watched the internet come into existence, the internet used to be a place where we would go ask questions, but the internet now, with algorithms and AI, has become a place.
Thank you, Rigo.
Where the internet offers suggestions. And that is the turning point as far as I'm concerned. I don't want the internet to lead me in any particular direction. I want to use the internet purely as a tool,
right,
for my search results. And the problem has become that it has started to, because of algorithms, it has started to suggest things to us. And that's a rabbit hole that I do not want, that I don't think is healthy.
Yep. No, I agree. Like it turned from a tool that we can use to help our lives into a thing that can help some rich dude make more money by manipulating and directing us in ways that, may not benefit us.
And
but
selling
benefit
shit.
somebody else.
Like everything is
Right.
fucking an ad. Everything is a fucking ad.
Yep.
That was basically Web 2.0 was, I think, started around, 2008 or something? Web 2.0. And that's almost the same thing if you would say Mir with the corporate AI we have now. But thank goodness AI is getting better, and partly thanks to Chinese corporation or businesses, because they have to make AI work on, they don't have access to the big hardware like the NVIDIA chips, so they have to. And the good thing too, they're working on ways to make AI work that doesn't need to use all this data or the data centers. So that you could get a good LLM that could fit on a flash drive. So
And see that can be beneficial, having locally deployed AI that can help you with your productivity, your personal productivity. I think that's fantastic. Unfortunately, that's what the government will probably regulate first, is personal usage.
Just to address what Rego is saying down in the comments, we don't own anything anymore. Everything is a fucking subscription.
Yeah.
Everything is temporary. So all right. So I'm old enough to remember when we had cable television, right? So you paid for a cable television package, and then TV broke itself up and has become now this streaming service where you pay for every single little tidbit of information. And it's all subscription based. We don't own anything anymore.
Right. And that's going to be, even more so later. You'll own nothing and be happy, as they said. I think that was Klaus Schwab said that. Chip, do you remember that? I think that was Klaus Schwab.
I'm going to go look it up.
No, I don't remember. No.
They always made jokes about that.
Yeah, and then that's where they were pushing like eating crickets instead of like red meat, and finding various ways, which I'm not opposed to. Like,
there's nothing wrong with eating crickets. Crickets
nothing.
are a good source of protein,
and they taste good when cooked properly.
That's correct. You add a little bit of cinnamon, you add a little bit of sugar. They're a treat. They're like candy.
Yeah. Or you can even make them taste like potato chips, like fucking sour cream and onion. I know Ball Talk may not like that, but hey, what's up, MBW?
Do you know that I can't be here with Ball Talk? That Ball Talk and I are like the reason why I
arch enemies.
Yeah, kind of. I said something apparently a couple days ago, and I can't take it back, I guess. So anyway.
Well,
eating crickets.
Yeah, eating crickets. I mean, some schools actually, they will that's what they'll serve for lunch and stuff is crickets. Which, I mean, to me, bugs seem like a very appropriate thing to get your protein that you need.
They're a huge source of protein. That
Right.
Because we're grossed out by it in the West, that we turn our noses up at it.
Right.
But they're a huge source of protein. Like, forget cows, forget chickens, forget bugs.
Give me some damn crickets.
Right, and cook it correctly, and I'll fucking eat it.
Yeah, or
Well,
like
if things get
capybara.
more expensive, people might do that. Out of necessity.
I know people look at capybaras like they're like, oh, they're so cute and cuddly. Yeah, we need capybara farms here because they breed quickly, they grow fast. They're like rodents.
Okay,
and they produce pork like meat.
Okay, but if you've ever been next to a capybara, you're gonna have a hard time eating it because they're fucking cute as fuck. They're the best creatures on the planet.
They are, but so are chickens. Chickens, I love chickens.
Chickens are just dinosaurs.
I love my modern dinosaurs, and I also love eating them, whether that be nuggets or hot wings
or their eggs.
Or their eggs. Eat me some.
But I tell you
dinos.
what. I don't know if I've said this before on this panel. So I ran a chicken farm for quite a while. Do not get injured and fall down injured in a chicken coop because they will devour you. They will absolutely. They are dinosaurs.
They're ruthless.
Absolutely.
They are.
There is no mercy. If you fall down injured in a chicken coop, you're done for.
Yeah. And don't get too many roosters either. They will destroy the chickens. They will absolutely flay those fucking chickens. If you have too many of them, it's pretty wild. No, I like my chickens. Got a lot of eggs, but anyway, I'm not even sure how I got into this, but talking about the crickets, but I do wish we would do more with that though, because like the corporate agriculture is just a devastation to the populations of animals. I mean, torturous even. And we're eating that shit, and we don't really have to. But that goes back into the greed. They'll take your shit for whatever they want, and at some point we've got to stop allowing this. I don't really know how else to do it because voting doesn't appear to work either. Does anybody here still feel like voting is working? Nobody.
It's working in small amounts.
It works great for the establishment.
That's right. Yeah, because it makes you feel like you've done something. I voted. We're even going to give you little stickers.
Well, all right. So if voting isn't the answer, but it's the only avenue we have right now, do y'all still vote? Because I do.
Yes.
I realize how bullshit it is, but I still go and I still vote.
It's not the only avenue we have. It's the least dangerous avenue we have.
Right. It's the one that they've deemed to be acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, for example, the whole Spirit Airlines thing. That's another avenue. People putting their money collectively. The problem is you can't really trust any of the people that are, holding the money. And, because of that, we can't do some of the things that we probably should do. Like, I remember they sold some of the toll roads. I think it was in Chicago, maybe in somewhere else. People should have bought that. People should have bought that and then just fucking removed the toll roads. They could have done that, but nope.
Well,
Didn't do it.
I think as with the Spirit Airlines, it was going well until the guy partnered with the wrong people.
Well, I don't think that guy had good intentions from day one, Hunter.
Probably
I think
not.
Yeah, because he owns a company that sells content strategy. So basically teaching, and getting people and brands to go viral.
Oh yeah, he's already a red flag. You know what though? What he did do, because the thing is, there are actual co-op companies who help people purchase for a co-op. Like they do exist. They do exist. And so what someone should do is get in touch with those bad boys and say, "Hey, let's run an airline."
Yeah, I mean, co-ops are is to me a much more valuable asset that we don't really, it's not really prolific. But that way the workers own, and there's incentive there, and you get a say in where the money goes. You can distribute it as bonuses or expansion or what have you. I mean, it really depends, but we need more of that. So that's another avenue, Pyre, that allows people to be able to kind of fend for themselves, even inside of the system that's fucking us over. So you could do that.
There's a thing, because I think the old-fashioned way of unions have probably lost their power because they could just hire robots and AI, but if they become co-ops, that's like a whole modern thing.
Right.
So I think that's a new step.
And that may be, and they can even, use the AI within the co-op to help the co-op be able to, make more money for the workers and owners. I don't know. Like, to your point, Pyre, about voting, yes, I vote because, everybody should vote. But it hasn't helped,
It is definitely not helped.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And it's...
I'm under no illusion. I get it. But I will still, as long as I am forced to live within the system, then I'm going to do my very best to adjust the system to at least, be within the confines of what I want. You know what I mean? Like, did that make sense? Like, I'm gonna do my best. That's all I can do. But we've been so splintered that we can't come together as a group, as a big group, to say no. And so they've done a really good job of leaving us the only avenue is to vote in a system that's broken.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, even with you on the day that we were all boycotting, you still opened the business and you still sold to people.
Yeah.
And so when we can't even, like, because there was some business that had shut down for that, like, in solidarity with people. And, it's going to take more of that. More of, like, especially the smaller businesses like yours, just saying, just take a fucking day off. I'll just take a day off. But if we can't, do that,
what ended up happening was the people who... I ended up having a really good day that day because it was understood that small local business owners were exempt from that. Like, we were protesting giant corporations. And so people didn't go necessarily to McDonald's or Burger King, but they did come to me. And to be honest, I wasn't even aware it was happening. So I was dumb. I was ignorant of the fact right off the bat. But I was glad that people didn't attack me for it, that they showed up, that they came, that they arrived, that they supported a local business that, all I'm doing is just trying to feed my kid. You know what I mean? Like, so, so anyway, I got mixed up in that. But I think the main point was that we weren't supposed to go to, like, Kroger or Whole Foods or Burger King or McDonald's, but going out to eat at your local mom and pop place was still acceptable.
Well, those mom and pop places still utilize big corporations for that.
We do.
Right. like
And
the distributors and where you buy your products and stuff. It wasn't that there were exemptions that I was aware of. It just don't spend any money.
I agree. And to be honest with you, I'm 100%. If I'm going to be honest, I was completely unaware that I do a really bad job of paying attention as a business owner to things like that.
Pyre, you're lying to me.
What do you mean?
You said that you had no idea. That's a lie. You were on the panel that day before you went and did what you were going to do, and we were talking about it before you went there. So I don't, and I'm not even trying to beat you over the head with it. I'm just saying, you were critical because if you don't vote, blah blah blah, and there are other avenues, but you don't even engage in those other avenues. So
right. So listen. So what I mean by being I'm bad at recognizing those things is if I had recognized it a week out, I would have closed, but I didn't recognize it was happening until the day before, and I couldn't tell my staff go home. They had made plans. That's the only reason why I'm saying that I'm bad at it.
I mean that's fair.
If I had known a week out, I would have totally closed. But I'm so dumb that I didn't realize it until the day before, and to close, I would have had to shut all kinds of things down, and I just realized it at too late of notice, is what I mean when I say I'm dumb.
Well, we're gonna need more of that,
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm kind of losing hope and faith in people. I don't know, Chip. What do you think? Are you running out of hope that we'll do anything in time?
My prediction, for me, it's not about hope, because I think hope is sort of an empty thing. It's, I would prefer if something were to change, but my best guess is, again, I'm not a gambler, but if I had to put a bet on it, I don't think that there's going to be enough organizing and response before the more difficult measures come into place that are going to make that even more difficult as time goes by. So my guess is the sun will still come up. There'll still be life. People will be able to come and go. They'll have some freedom, but it's going to be more limited. We're hearing laws about these vehicle things that are coming into play, flock cameras, AI data centers, digitized currency, biometrics. These things are going to be, life's going to be more restrictive without the benefits of the socialism that exists in places like China. So we get the mass surveillance and control with the ruthless nature of hardcore capitalism. So there's going to be a lot of losers, not bad people, but people that'll be on the wrong end of a changing paradigm. The rich are going to get incredibly more wealthy. The people that are in work right now that provides income are going to lose much of that work because of the transition. And they're going to be relegated to a lot of difficulty and a lot of decreased standard of living. I think that's the future for the country. And that's if things go well. And so my personal choice is you can stay here and fight it, you can stay here and endure it, or you can find a place that's on the upswing, not the downswing. Nothing is going to be perfect. Yes, some of those systems may evolve there as well over time, but at least at the current moment, and I've researched this extensively, by the way, so I spent the last 2 months of my life doing, because this is serious stuff, right? You got to figure out where you're going to live your life and where you have the best chance to have a good life. And as much as I love this place, my family's from here, I grew up here, I don't see there being much of a good future here for most people.
Yeah, I mean, you can leave if you can afford it, right? But that begs the question, maybe this is philosophical, but if it's a done deal, doesn't that mean that those of us who had tried to change and it's not going to because people just won't engage in it, should we become ruthless like the people that are taking over? Should we become the assholes?
Yes, we should.
I think people will.
That's the only answer. The only way that we fight back is to fight on their terms. That's it, right? Am I wrong?
And so what does that look like? What do you do to be the asshole?
It looks fucking bad. It looks really bad. But
do we steal from people in legal ways?
Yes.
Do we take people's land from them?
Yes, we do.
I mean, really?
Yes, we do. Because that's what they've been doing to us for the last 200 years.
Realistically, though, that's not going to happen.
Of course not.
I think there'll be migrations.
We can't.
People
We
used to-
can't even get.
Oh, I know.
We can't even get people to unionize properly because they get fear-mongered at work. So asking them to get uncomfortable is going to be like asking me to wear, tennis shoes without socks. Like, it's not going to happen.
Hey, so T-Beans, so I have to bring up this latest Virginia Supreme Court redistricting thing. So Texas and so there have been a lot of red states that have redistricted recently, and without consent from the voting population. And Virginia took redistricting to the courts, to the public, and the public said, yes, we want to redistrict. And now the Supreme Court of Virginia is saying, no, you people, y'all are wrong. You don't get to do this. So that's why we have to get mean. This is what I would say to the people of Virginia is fuck the Supreme Court of Virginia. Do it anyway, because that's
when I say ruthless, I'm saying engage in their behavior to do the thing that they're also doing. I'm not saying do it to just become the colonizer, basically. Is that what you're saying? Like become the colonizer?
Exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people of Virginia should.
That's something a colonizer would say.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's where we have to go. Like we're playing fucking checkers, and
so
they're
what are we
playing
doing
chess.
up here then? What's the point?
I don't know. Man, I don't know.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, and trust me, I'm with you. But if we can't even get people to not shop for a day, how are we going to get these people out in the streets sticking up for their own rights if we can't even get them to just not spend money for one day? Just don't spend money. We can't even get them organized to do that, let alone get out there and fight for their rights, which they should, and I'm with you on it, and that's exactly what we need. But if we could first just get them to go exempt on their taxes, that would be a good step. But getting people to even do that, I mean, we'd have to educate them that it's okay to do that.
That's it. I haven't paid taxes in 5 years.
Why?
Because I started a business and things got really confusing, and I literally cannot find an accountant. And so I've just kind of been like flubbing it. Like I send something in every once in a while, but I don't know that it counts. I'm probably going to go to federal prison here pretty soon, just so y'all know.
I just,
I'm not a bad
all
person.
of this to avoid violence, because
I'm not a bad
violence. Violence is the
I
answer for this country and all of these colonizers. That's what their first go to. Look what they did in Iran, and so we're like, well, we don't want to be violent, so we're just going to start like taking people's shit and engaging in this stuff that we're just going to bypass the violence. Because when people are starving and they can't find anything to eat to feed their kids, and somebody calls them a fucking homeless person, arrests them, and sends them to some fucking camp, we're just gonna we're just gonna roll over and accept that.
Well, the issue is nobody's uncomfortable enough yet. Nobody has that fire lit under their ass because nobody's, not nobody, but in general, people are just not uncomfortable enough yet. When they're the ones that have to scratch and dig and claw so that they can make meat, that's whenever I think people will start to go, oh shit, maybe we should step up and do something finally. But nobody's ready for that right now.
Well, maybe we make them uncomfortable.
Nobody's ready to make them. I don't know how nobody is uncomfortable yet. I mean, people are there's 1 in 5 kids in West Virginia starving. But we're more concerned about going over and starting shit with other countries.
Yeah, like why are the refineries still going? Because if we had a shortage of oil in this country, you think people would get really uncomfortable?
Yep.
Chip, do you think that if we were to have a shortage of oil and gas, do you think that might make people uncomfortable?
Well, yeah, uncomfortable. People are already uncomfortable just because of the cost of living increases before this Iran war. It's going to become more uncomfortable. The problem, I think, is that people don't have a sort of an inspirational, sort of centralized goal and or like light at the end of the tunnel to point to, so that if they were to do A, B is possible. Right now, they see doing A is just going to get them in more trouble individually. So an inspiring leader would be great, around a common vision would be great, with specific and escalatory actions, which would be great, give people a direct roadmap. And then there's organization. Those have to accompany the changes. And right now we're set up to argue left-right. They have people convinced. That guy earlier today, the guy, what was his name? Knucklehead, Baldy. He said it's all these Democrats' fault. Go to these damn Democrats. They have people convinced of this nonsense left-right. We don't have a left-right problem. We have an oligarchy versus the masses problem. It's class-oriented. It's the wealthy asset holders versus the rest of us who don't have as much or any of those assets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Mandela, which, politicians often point to talk about, peaceful protest. Look what Nelson Mandela did. And they just completely omit the part where he was like, okay, we can't do this peacefully anymore, and started becoming violent.
And so to the point, so I came in kind of late, but to the point that the previous person was saying, so this is the reason why we need to have extraordinary estate taxes. So when you pass away, if you're a multi-billionaire, you do not get to pass that money on to your kids, because that makes your kids start out a leg up over the rest of the kids. Which is why I'm a firm believer in taxing, we give credit to people who have unrealized gains, and I hate that term so much. But when you pass away and all your money is liquidated, it should all go back to the state, and none of it should go to your kids.
So what about land? You lose your land too? Everybody starts from scratch.
That's a good.
Every generation.
That's a good question. I think
that
I'm
just keeps
say yes.
That keeps people, in the dirt. Doing that would keep everybody in the shitter.
Which is, I think, where we should all be.
In the shitter?
Yes. We should all to put it a different way, we should all start out at zero. You should not benefit because you were lucky enough to be born of a son or a daughter of an incredibly wealthy person. That should not dictate your life arc, your life trajectory. Just because you happen to be born to a wealthy family should not give you a leg up.
Or should it be based on the amount of money that your family had? So if your family was multi-millionaires, then that can't go to you. But if you're somebody who's like middle class, that can be,
Well, yeah, there should. So all right, so I lost my parents in the last couple of years, and so I've been through this. I've personally experienced this. So my parents. My dad built his own house in the mountains of Arizona. But at the same time, he was also part of the Enron problem. Do y'all remember Enron? My dad was he was a company man. He worked for Amoco for his entire life, and Amoco invested all of his retirement into Enron. And my dad watched his retirement crumble while the investment broker that he used made a bunch of money, because the investment broker pulled his money out of Enron before it started to crumble. And my dad was like, "Why didn't you pull my money out?" And he never got an answer because the guy ended up getting fired and prosecuted. But so there should be a cap. So but it should be really small. So my parents had a net worth when they passed away of probably $500,000. Okay, that's nothing. And so that should not be taxed, and it should go directly to the kids. But there definitely needs to be a discussion about the cap. But I don't think that.
Well, what if we do this? If you're white and you have a bunch of money, none of that gets passed down to your children, and it gets given as reparations to black families, for example. What if we did that?
Well, you would have to define YT first. Because my parents, my mom was Cherokee, my dad was YT. So you would have to then define YT.
Well, I mean, because they stole from people of color and enriched themselves, and they had all this generational wealth. Maybe we just trace it back,
English, Scottish.
Right? I mean,
there's English, Scottish, Italian, Greek,
if
German,
you're of European descent,
they're all different white.
Yeah.
There's nobody.
And just give it all of it. Like every time somebody unalives, whether it's a trust, just take all of that.
That's actually interesting.
And give it as reparations, because a lot of those families, that's where they got it.
Liberal, but wait a minute. There are several different whites. There's the England, the Anglo-Saxon. There's the Scottish, the Irish, the Welsh, the German, the France, the Italians, the Polish, the Greeks, the Spaniards.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's whitey people like me.
And every single one of those people benefited by the oppression of others doing the work.
But then there's whitey people like me.
Well, not the Irish.
Wait, QB, hold on. Then
they
there's
were white
whitey
too.
people like me who are on the Cherokee rolls. I am a member of the Cherokee Nation. I have voting rights. I have my card. My daughter does too. And so there are very whitey people presenting people like me, who are a member of the tribe. So how do we then separate that?
I mean, you're a sovereign. You're part of a sovereign nation, so I guess that wouldn't really apply to you.
Yeah.
But then you'd have a rush of people trying to buy their way into families or marrying into. We'll give your family $50 million if you let us, have our kids become citizens of their tribe.
Right. So this is why I would advocate for a dollar amount. So if you're worth more than X amount, you get.
Thank you, T-Beans.
You get your when you pass away. If you're worth more than X amount, you get Y amount taken away and put back into the public coffers. So that's why I think it shouldn't have anything to do with your skin color or what tribe you belong to. It should only matter how much money you're worth.
Sorry.
What? Okay.
I've been sitting here real quiet.
Okay. Thank you for telling us something we already know, Dewey. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry. I know I come across arrogant, and I don't mean to.
Yeah.
It's a personality change that comes with my.
It's fine. I'm just giving you shit. Good.
I only wish my parents had left me $500,000. I mean, that is above average. But, God, I forgot what I was going to say. You can't, okay, for $1,500, you can find a lawyer and you can get around probate. Because probate is actually where they decide whether or not and where the money goes and how much goes to the state. Okay? So to get around that, you can go have a living trust, or you can set up an LLC, and it protects your property against just about everything, except for taxes. So when I pass away, which won't be that long, my son will inherit everything I have. And that's okay with me. And so what I'm doing now is I'm squirreling back as much money as possible to make sure that he doesn't have a problem after I leave. So he'll own the house, he'll own my cars, he'll own all my property without having to go through probate court. Now, if I can do it for $1,500,
do you know
anybody can do it for $1,500, and that includes
anybody could do it for $1,500.
People who are extremely rich, and that's how they get around probate.
Well, you know what? I know how to fix all of those rules and those little tricks and stuff. If we have passed legislation that says that in every city somebody has to go out and teach these things and automatically do this for the black community for probate so that they can avoid paying taxes and avoid doing all these things, all of a sudden our politicians would be like, we got to fix this trust stuff and this probate stuff, and we got to make sure that you can't do that.
They're the ones that set it up.
You could start a foundation to teach that. That could be your foundation.
I guarantee you that's what would happen. I mean, it's every time. You could teach that. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, Pyre, I think Pyre is upset. He's exhausted. Pyre is exhausted.
Well, I hope I didn't offend him, but...
No, I don't. I think he was offended by the conversation. I hope you don't have to work today, Pyre. Anyway, no, so I don't know, and even changing that, it's not really going to it's not going to fix it for everybody, because I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it's just a lost cause.
Well, that is a start, though. You and Ball Talk can get together and form a foundation and actually teach people.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
If it comes up here, maybe you discuss.
I don't have $1,500, but anybody can do it for $1,500.
What is that? 501c or whatever it's called, where you get money on donations and they pay for it.
501c3.
Right? Yeah.
It would be a good idea to teach people that. It truly would be.
Yep.
But, yeah, and you're probably right. They'll say, well, that's a problem. We're losing revenue. Let's find a way around it. Yeah.
That wouldn't be why they'd change it. They'd be like, black people are having a benefit, and they're having generational wealth growth. We can't be having that.
They missed your point. They missed the point. It flew over their heads. Because when you have people in the dominant society who are used to having things go for them and have blinders on when it doesn't go for people of other marginalized communities, this is one of the major problems. Everything everybody's saying is true, how we can have change. But we have a major, major problem. Poor white people in this country vote against their own self-interest. They do actions against their own self-interest. They won't, if you gave them the holy grail of how to change what's happening to us now, if anybody in here said, this is what we need to do, and the last part of that is we have to work with black people and give up our privilege, they would rather crumble than to feel like they're on equal footing to black people. Period, full stop. And we keep missing this point. Racism is the cancer, the original cancer of this country. And it's what's led us to having Donald Trump. It's the reason we don't have universal health care, one of the main reasons. It's the reason we have to pay and sell a kidney to go to college. Because they didn't want not people of color, black people. It's specifically targeting black people. Everything you're seeing in Louisiana, with them redistricting to the point where they're taking away black people's votes and rights, that is the norm. Every time the country makes advances to really unifying and having an equal playing field or it was never been equality, equity, they would lose their minds. So when we talk about having equality and equity, what does that mean? Equity means having a fair share in the monetary system in this country. This government put things in place that Black people couldn't share in that. Slavery is one. You can never pass anything down to your future generations because you don't have any. You don't have anything to give them. And then when that's over, we're going to find all kinds of ways to keep you down because we need you to always be an underclass. It is in our blood to tell you that you're inferior. And so now that we think that we're making strides and steps, and now people can eat at the same lunch counter, people think, oh, racism is gone. No, the whole system still is running off of that. And people still vote that way. People are voting, white people who literally have no health care will vote to continue to not have health care as long as they can look down on somebody. And that's from President Johnson. And it's really sad that no one addresses it because no one wants to touch it. When I say no one, I mean white people. You have great ideas. That's wonderful. But you're not Sweden. People can say, oh, well, Sweden has universal health care, and so does Norway. Well, what do they all have in common?
Against sunburn when they go outside.
Right. And we have to address that. That is major. I know we think it's just class, but that's all tied in together. There are millions of white people who would rather this country crumbles to the ground than to have Black people on equal footing as far as equality and equity. Yep. White people know that they can call the police and weaponize the police against Black people because that's just their right.
Yep, and they still do it. They still do it.
I've just had it happen to me.
Recent. Yep, still happening.
So if we can't change that mindset, and I know you can get Black people and other people of color on board if white people would stop wanting to just be different and above the rest. It is and I'm going to say this in my opinion, this is a white issue. This is a white issue.
Yep.
And you all have to figure out that when you're having these conversations and I'm just listening and it's a panel full of white people, all I hear is you talking about what you're not thinking about other people. You're not thinking about marginalized communities. You're still thinking about coming from a centered place, and we should do this and we should do that, and you're centering it. Well, we had a lovely person up here yesterday, Rebecca, talking about all the things that she's trying to do, and then she talked about having her a group of women, white women, get together. That's very dangerous to me. I'm quivering when I hear that. Yeah, white liberal women make me quiver.
And then gets threatened on the panel because she's
by a white liberal.
supporting an indigenous male.
By a white liberal woman, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I need to drop. I have company.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, Dewey. I appreciate it. But yeah, and really, racism is one word to describe it. Really, like the mentality that, and I don't even know that people do it on purpose. I really think it's like a subconscious thing, and that's why they don't get it. It's just that feeling of superiority, and I hate to even think that or say that,
Sabrina,
but really
right.
that's what it is.
You got to drop because you don't like what you're hearing. You're part of the problem. And most older white men.
That's what Pyre did earlier.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you guys weren't even talking about race at that point. You were just talking about the silliness of him thinking that only when his parents died he should get the money, but nobody else should, especially wealthy people.
Yeah,
that's not even the issue. The issue is, why are there people who are as wealthy as they are and others are not? Because the game was rigged from the beginning. If we break down from race, sex, all of that, you will find the patriarchy and white supremacy are brother and sister. White, old, dry, and then you add Zionism into it, and you find out that a lot of Zionists are these multi-billionaires. These are systems that are in place.
It's crazy because a lot of them want homogeneity.
Yeah.
And they could get it if they went back to Europe.
That's right.
In my view. But because they they'll like go into an area, unalive the population, and we see this is happening in the last 100 years even, and now to this day we're going into Cuba, for example, and then like force the people out, and then they're like, well, this is a white place, basically. I mean, hell, look at Brazil. And and that mentality is weird to me. Like this. Oh, thank you, Rigo.
Thank you, darling. Listen, but it's not weird. You know why? Because this is what they haven't changed their playbook. They want.
Yeah, but it still works. That's the wild
part. They want homogeneity. They want homogeneity after they've taken everybody else's shit.
Yeah, thank you, Rigo.
It's just like coming to your land, raping you, forcing you to breed, forcing you to be enslaved. And all of a sudden, when they get control, oh, we have to have laws in place. You can't steal things and you can't break people. Oh, really? You mean the way you got this?
Right.
We can't do the things that
While
you did.
and still do it, but they're like, yeah, but we did it because it was right. It was for democracy, or whatever. And these are like, and I know people get sick of talking about this. I know this topic drives a lot of people away, but it really, I don't think can be emphasized enough, because it's even in good people. And I've fucking watched it with my own eyes on this panel. It just is there, and I'm not sure that you can remove that, whatever that is. I don't know that you can remove that. And so, like, what is the answer? Ball talk, because I don't think it's going to come around. Like, I don't think they're going to change. You know what I mean? Aside from in like going to a place where they don't exist, I think is impossible. And if you did that, they would go there. You know what I mean?
Think about what you just did. Your sarcastic remark, which I caught it, when you said when white people unalive, give all the. I caught what you were doing.
Right.
Pirate literally got upset about that.
Right.
Because they're so in a bubble that he didn't know you were being sarcastic.
Right.
You triggered. You knew these people don't even get that. How are we supposed to work together if you don't even get that?
Right. I'm glad you caught that, though.
Of course I caught it. Yeah. Why wouldn't I catch it?
I assumed you would.
Saying, and I knew when you were saying teach black people about finance, I knew that was a joke too.
Right.
Because that's the way to shut shit down. You want to shut shit down, guys?
Right.
You want to shut down this welfare system like they usually do? Pretend black people are on it the most. Oh, they'll talk about it badly. But then we find out that 150 plus thousand Hasidic Jews are on it, and they get everything.
And they're like, yeah, but we watched a dude up here on this panel do that.
Yes.
Like in real time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So when you don't even get when somebody's throwing a jab at you, or just saying something just to see if you would, we don't even. When I say we, I should say the white community in America, and I'm talking about the working class, the poor, still believes that they can become childbearing hips Elon Musk because they've been sold that your whiteness alone. And now you're starting to feel it. Well, that's not happening. My gas is also too much. Oh, wait, it's not just them over there over those railroad tracks that are bad. Oh, we just look down. Oh, but now it's affecting me. My house is eminent domain. When I saw that video you played about the young lady whose house is eminent, they've done that. That's what America does. It's done that to Native Americans' lands. It's done that to whenever black communities were thriving. Nope, we're going to take this. They've always done that. It's starting to affect white people more because the first part of it was
needs to. Because that's where the change comes.
Right. The suburbs, guys. All of the suburbs
were
probably once thriving black towns that they carved out to be special for white people. So you have low interest rate, 1.99 on a home that was probably $3,000 so that you guys could have upward mobility. It was a plan. They put that in place to make you always think that you were better than the black or anybody else that was down, to look down on. Mainly the black. But until white people realized, wait a minute, Am I willing to give up like Pyre? He's not ready. He's not ready for this. He's not ready to give up. And I don't mean give up his business, but to see that there are going to be people who don't look like him. Because I believe he's a white man, even though he keeps saying that indigeneity. I think he's a white man who was on the $5 rolls. He said he called himself white on this panel today. He called himself a white man today.
He did.
And he thinks like a white man.
Yep. And he took issue with I don't remember exactly what it was, but I caught that too, where he had been claiming indigeneity, but when I'd said something about the white community, he took it personally because it was like a dig at him.
Money from when a white person what about me being a white man?
Right, and then he's like, and then he inserted his indigeneity later.
He thinks of himself as white.
There's a term that we have in our community. They're called apples. Apples.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even know that pertains to him necessarily, because then you'd have to be read on the outside.
That's right. I don't think he's an apple. I think that, and it's okay, but I think that he identifies as a white man. His lived experience, I guarantee you, was that of a white. When you talk about your father being in Enron with that savings and loan crisis, that means he was making bucks before it crashed. So he has a lived experience probably of a middle class or upper middle class white man. That's who he is, and that's okay. But don't come up here and talk about how you are a native and all that bullshit. But your talking points are that of a person who, like you told us, to have compassion for the IDF soldiers because they're just kids. Bitch, please. We're not doing that.
Yeah, so he did say we had to define white.
Right, right. And when you and I'm gonna let my plane here. When you white people, and I have not seen this or heard this from many of you, start correcting other white people in their subtle bigotries, then I'll know you're ready. But right now, you guys are just you're in a vacuum. When you talk about let's make change and we have to do this. You're leaving whole swaths of people out, mainly black ones.
But see, they usually focus on like microaggressions, and if somebody like interrupts a black person, or that's what they're focused on. But it's not really like the superiority mindset that can be very subtle.
But they probably can't see it. They cannot see it. They just
that may be true.
They've been centered all of their lives. And any white person that says you have not been the center of the universe in America, you are lying. Everything, the time you come out of that womb, your credit score is 850. Everything you can remember from then on, everything is white. Santa Claus is white. Angels are white. Everything white is fabulous. You may have been born into a suburb where you had nothing but white neighbors. That was all by design to make you feel, even though you were working class or working poor, make you feel like you were better than those over there. And that is the problem I think we have to break through first before we can really wreck shop and take this country back. Otherwise, the country's going to go where it's supposed to go, and that's back to its default setting of white supremacy, white male supremacy. And I'm trying to wait until the 19th Amendment is going to be where they're going to start fucking with that, because they really want to go back to white male of means supremacy, and that's what they're going to do. And so far they're on the right course doing it, and no one's able to stop them because everybody's clutching their pearls and, oh my God, he did this, and oh my God, he did that, but no one's saying, no, you must stop this. Enough is enough. So I believe we're fucked. I believe if you're not willing to take your money out of the commercial banks, and we had several people on this panel who were talking about the same thing. We have to have change. We have to work together. But they refuse to take their money out of their local small bank, but still a commercial bank, just to prove a point. They're not ready. We're not ready for this fight. We're not ready. Yeah. The billionaires have won. The Zionists have won. Yeah. Yeah, we're not ready.
Crazy. Well, we got Jonathan and Rigo. Jonathan, welcome aboard. What's up, man?
Hey, good to see you guys. I just wanted to say I completely agree with Maverick, and I just think that the American people are truly pacified by the powers that be, right? They're pacified by propaganda that we see every day on our phones and on our social
family
media.
reunion are forever etched into my soul.
Autoplay. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, that sounded like a really interesting story that was being read. Anyway, I just think the American people are completely pacified. We're completely distracted. And the reality that I think, and this is honestly going to be a very hard thing for people, I'm probably going to be very unpopular after I say this. I don't think a lot of people truly want change when it really comes down to it, right? When Joe Biden launched his 2020 campaign, and he told that group of wealthy donors at that fundraiser that, quote, nothing would fundamentally change no matter who wins, that just proves that people are not ready for change. And the reason he was voted in is because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people within the Democratic Party, a lot of wealthy donors that don't want to see anything change.
Right.
Okay. When it really comes down to it, right, Bernie Sanders was winning every primary. I remember that primary. I was a senior in high school. He was winning. And then those Democratic donors got so scared, they all started rallying around the status quo again to prevent Bernie Sanders from getting in there.
Like they tried to do Mamdani, absolutely.
Right. And I just think that, I mean, if you look at states all across the country, a lot of progressive cities, whenever there's like bonds proposed for affordable housing, right, what happens? All these lovey-dovey liberals and progressives show up and they vote those bonds down because they don't want to see affordable housing because, frankly, people do not want to have to live next to people who are poor or people who are of a different skin color. That's just the reality. And until the Democratic Party and the Democratic voters, right, look in the mirror and recognize that at the end of the day, these people represent us. We vote for them, right? They represent our interests, and our interests have been with the status quo for a long time. I don't think anything's ever really going to change.
Nope.
And I'll land my plane there.
Spot on.
That's basically probably why people don't like. I know there's a lot of bad with the big corporations with data centers, but that's probably why people don't like AI. They don't like change. And didn't they protest nuclear power? Those whatever they were called, those stations along in the 70s or 80s.
Nuclear power plants, you mean?
Yeah, not in our backyard. People don't want.
Queeby, I can't deal with you because you're gonna marry AI. You are a robot. I can't deal with you. You support all this AI shit and it's robot shit.
I'm gonna do more than I'm not gonna marry. I'm gonna become an AI. I'm gonna upload
Maverick, you don't speak her language. Her language is beep boop beep boop 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 boop.
Kibi, do you find that funny? I thought that was kind of funny.
Kiwi is a computer, honey. I can't deal. I can't. Listen,
I love Kiwi. I love Kiwi.
We have Kiwi. You are literally a traitor in this room. You are for the robot age. You want us to be replaced. You want a house where you go in and a machine is bringing your food. I can't deal with you.
No, I don't want a corporate one. I want eventually them to fall. I want an open source private one. I know we need them to help build it initially, but they're going to fall.
So what are you going to drink, Queen? Why they're eating all that water? What do you want? What are we going to do for water?
Oh, thank you, Hobie's forehead.
Boats
that was
on the
badass.
ocean can take.
That was nice. Yeah,
you know what
that
I just
was
found
badass.
out? Wait. Let me talk. You know what I just found out?
I gotta thank my gifters, okay? If that's okay with
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hobie's forehead is a very important part of this program. Okay, go ahead, Kibi.
But I just found out that the battleships on the ocean, they could take seawater and they can actually recreate the water cycle where it evaporates.
And how much is that going to cost? And how much is that going to cost?
So now she's telling us we have to drink water that tastes like octopus twat. No, thank you.
Holy shit! Whoa!
Now we all have to go.
Wow!
Hobie's forehead.
That was like fucking awesome.
Hobie's fucking forehead.
I want that.
You rule Hobie's forehead.
Oh my god, that forehead is a weapon of mass destruction. Holy
shit! That's awesome. Let me get okay. Yay! Yeah. That was cool shit. It's the first time I've ever seen that.
You should have a special box just for Hobie's forehead. If Hobie's forehead is not here, that box stays empty. Period.
I agree.
Wow, W Hobie's forehead. That's fucking
W
crazy.
Hobie's forehead. I've never seen that before.
The hot takes box, I'm gonna have to like make it Hobie's forehead box.
Yes.
But I can't make it big enough though, so I'm not sure if that'll work.
Make the one
I may
below
have to
the hot
give.
takes. his
I have to
box.
give. I may have to give this up for Hobie's forehead.
Or right below the hot takes, the 90s.
Hey,
right below Jonathan.
Queeby, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. Can you understand me?
Well, technically, Generation Gamma will. You know what Generation Gamma will be? That's around 2045, 2050.
Oh shit! Here, holy fucking shit, y'all!
Oh,
W Hobie's forehead. Wow,
crazy.
That is amazing.
Queeby right there. That's what Queeby will look like.
Hey, hats off to you, Hobie's
Oh, that'd be
forehead.
awesome.
Hobie's forehead is awesome.
I just want to say though,
You know?
Maverick's right though. So Queeby, you want us to drink
Thank you.
salt water, is what you're
Dude,
telling
thank
me.
you. Wow.
It's not salt water.
Wow,
no.
wow.
It's not salt water. And this point
I'm
is
not listening.
the reason
I'm
they're
not
able to
listening
stay
to
out.
Queeby because Queeby's making me queasy.
No,
No,
I'm
the
not-
reason they go out to sea, they start off with salt water, but it actually. That's what they have to clean it once in a while too. But
Yeah, whale
basically
poop,
it
listen.
becomes fresh water.
Whale poop,
It becomes fresh water.
dolphin poop,
That's.
octopus
I mean,
twat.
well, that's
I'm not doing this.
that's not
No.
actually a terrible idea. Holy shit! Here we
Oh,
go.
look at this.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Oh
let's see.
my God.
Ooh.
That's fucking
What is
awesome.
that?
W Hobie's forehead. That's
Transformers.
cool as shit. What is that?
Damn, that was
That's
cool as
also in
fuck.
homage to Queeby with all this goddamn what do you call those
Queeby.
things? All those damn
But if you're a
robots
robot, you don't
and
have to
shit.
worry about eating.
What?
Thank you.
If you're a
Thank
robot, you
you.
don't have to worry about eating.
Oh,
Now she doesn't
W
wanna eat.
Hobie's forehead.
no, you just
Wow.
have to plug yourself
Like
into a
balls.
charger. You just have to plug yourself into a wall every day if you're a robot.
So the
That's all
box
you have to do.
that Jonathan Morton
Or I
said
get a
is
solar
going to be
panel.
it's going to be Hobie's
I get a
forehead
solar panel.
box.
Yeah, it has to be. Let me see
Yes.
if I can fix that up
I
right
get-
now.
Yeah. That's and when Hobie's
I
forehead
get
is
a
not
solar
here.
panel as big as Hobie's forehead.
Oh my
And I
god.
don't have to plug in.
Let me
Queeby,
duplicate
have
this.
you ever been contacted by Hobie's forehead?
No. That's the first
That
time I
laugh
saw
was
him.
funny.
I think. I don't know if I saw him before.
No, have you ever been contacted by someone named Hobie? That's for real,
No.
Because she's been attacking people on his panel.
All right, now I got to download
Who
this.
is this Hobie though? He's
She's a
that
mom.
guy with the big head that looks like
Girl.
that.
No, it's a girl.
She
Oh,
wants
she?
everybody to think I'm a transphobe and a racist and a misogynist and find another ism, and I'm
I
that
just
too.
saw everyone talking about it. I don't know what they were, so I don't know.
She's an old mod. I'm gonna try to see if I can't get that to holy shit, here we go again. Wow, that is fucking awesome. Hobie's forehead.
Crazy.
The igniter.
Hobie's and Hobie's forehead and I were enemies. Now I'm in love with Hobie's forehead.
So she was an enemy, but she's gifting a lot. I'm kind of
Oh shit, meteor shower. Holy
Oh
fuck.
my god.
Baby,
W
you're a
Hobie's
Forehead.
That's amazing.
Hobie's.
You know what's crazy is that TikTok wants everybody to gift. Oh, thank you for the fireworks, and that's supposed to push you up in the FYP, but the numbers
they
are just
full of
going
shit.
down.
Yeah, they're full
Fucking
of shit.
20,000 collective views on videos still can't get the numbers up on this show. That's crazy.
It says the live show got 1,531 more likes.
Wow.
In the last 5 minutes.
That's insane. Wow. Thank you, Hobie's forehead. I'm going to work on this.
But you're in the leagues. You're in the C League now, so you are moving up in the leagues.
Holy shit.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, that is fucking cool.
Thank you, Hobie's forehead.
Kibi's like, I want one of those.
So no, we gotta explain to Kibi. Hobie.
No, I thought she was an enemy because you just said she was a bad.
Kibi,
I'm confused.
Kibi, I'm trying to explain to you, robot girl. Hobie's forehead is not the person named Hobie. The person named Hobie has a forehead that looks like a Klingon and a Telosian mixed together. So this person who used to be APAC has now chosen Hobie's forehead because he gave a challenge yesterday that got to 200K likes. He would change his name to Hobie's forehead. Then she brought her big monstrous head in here to attack a woman on the panel for being on the panel.
and they got ball talk. They just yanked her. Harassment and bullying.
So the person in the chat is a friendly.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean the person Hobie's forehead has sent more gifts than I've seen all week. Crazy.
That's it, because I don't know who this real Hobie is. I don't know who the real Hobie is. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's an old mod.
I was talking about her.
Yeah, no, it's an old mod.
It's,
it don't really matter, but so we had somebody up on the show yesterday that Jesse, you don't want to know, up on the show that was contacted while on the show about her campaign, which she was just talking about, and then when that person didn't pay attention to her or whatever, she started I'll see this on the campaign trail, and then sent a video, I guess, took it as an intimidation tactic, like threatening somebody who's running for office because they support me. Crazy. Wow. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of somebody. What race do you think, if you were to see this person walking down the road, what race would you say that they were? Of course, it's an old ass picture. Oh, everybody left.
Asian and Native American. Maybe white, I don't know.
Yeah. That's my mom when she was younger. To anybody that thinks that I'm, YT passing even. Yeah. The little Indian boys. I remember that shit. That's how we used to be referenced back in Oklahoma and in New Mexico. Well, I mean, I'm about to shut down anyway. I hate to. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yep. And Sparky says Mexican. People thought I was Mexican. They always thought, are you Mexican? Especially when I tell I was, from New Mexico, and they were like, are you Mexican? If you're from it's like if you're from New Mexico, that doesn't make you Mexican. Just for the record. But yeah, no, she's it's crazy though. Shit she had to go through. So people that think that I'm white or whatever, just erasing us. Hell, she's gotten really, really light in her older age too. And thank you, Jesse. Yeah. That was back. I think she was 16 in that picture. They were making blankets for, I think, homeless people or something like that. And that was around the time she ended up meeting my sperm donor and got her out because she had just gotten out of the boarding school right after that and had gone to, what do they call that? The fucking, not workman's comp, worker corps or something. What the fuck is the name of that? Can you guys remember what that's called?
Job Corps?
Job Corps. Fuck. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, and that got her out of there, and then that's where my sperm donor met her. He was in his, I think, 30s. So she ended up moving. Anyway, little backstory there, just, so y'all know. I'm not sure that it matters, but Hobie's forehead, I'm going to work on that so you have your own space. Nobody will be allowed in that box, but Hobie's forehead. I think that's a good idea.
Sounds good, man. All right, man. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. It was good to see you on the panel again. Kibi, as always, a pleasure. Transhumanism doesn't bother me. It'll work itself out, but we'll get this shit into the stick. That's for sure. Always do. Thank you, Hobie's forehead. The fucking alien at the end. Wait. Did you add the alien at the end of your name, or did you post that in the chat? Let me look and see.
Oh yeah, see the
alien is at the end of the fucking name.
Oh, that's that guy from that superhero movie. The villain. The cancer guy.
Oh my god. That's funny. Anyway, that's good. Good. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much, and thank you all for the support. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Bye bye.